Yo, this is Set with Set Media, man. I'm here to talk to you about our partner, Kalshi. Kalshi is the largest legal prediction market in the United States with over 1 million users. It's available in all 50 states. They are a real money market, people trading on what they think will happen. You can build a position and trade in and out of almost any prediction you think. Kalshi facilitates trade between people kind of like the stock market. There's no limiting your trades just because you're winning. Kalshi will pay you interest on your position. So if you make a long-term trade, you can earn a return even before the market is resolved. If you want to try out Kalshi, go ahead and give them a try, guys, at my link, kalshi.com/setmedia. Get $20 when you trade 20, so it's 20 for 20, guys. Once again, that's kalshi.com/setmedia. Go ahead and use my code setmedia to get $20 when you trade 20. Let's go ahead and take a look here at Kalshi, because like I said, it is a trading market where you can put in your prediction and you can go ahead and earn interest on that. You can make money off the knowledge that you know, and if you put $20 in, you get $20 back. So all right, guys, make sure to go check out my guy at Kalshi, because you can get in on good trades like who will Trump nominate as Fed chair, will Ali Khamenei be outed as the supreme leader, and will the US confirm that aliens exist before 2027. So if you want to get in on this action, once again, go ahead and go to my partners at Kalshi. Go ahead and use the link, or you can hit the QR code above and use Set Media to go ahead and get $20 when you trade 20. This is Set from Set Media, and shout out to Kalshi. Yo, and we are live. Yo, this is Set with Set Media, guys, and I'm back with another one for you. All right, guys, we're about to get into some Iranian war updates because, it seems like we're prepping for a strike on Iran since negotiations seem to be stalled due to the blockade and the Strait of Hormuz, and the blockade on both sides, the blockade on top of a blockade. And then we're going to also review Pete Hegseth's, congressional hearing, because he was getting grilled, but he also stood up for himself a little bit. So shout out Pete Hegseth. But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Let's make sure we double tap that screen like the video, and let's go. All right.
First, we start with President Trump, reportedly set to be briefed by CENTCOM on new military action against Iran. Madeline Rivera has all of those details in Washington. Hi, Maddie.
Good morning, Carly and Todd. President Trump hasn't been satisfied with the state of negotiations in Iran to the point that he pulled out of those second round of expected talks between U.S. and Iranian officials in Pakistan over the weekend. He says Iran has come a long way, but indicates they have not gone far enough. Now, Axios reports CENTCOM has prepared a plan for.
Now, the problem is both sides is kind of playing each other. Now, we originally started the BS because we put down the naval blockade right as these guys, think about it, we put down a naval blockade and we made an agreement to open up the strait. Now, Iran, they opened up the strait and 14 ships were allowed to get through, but America, we kept our naval blockade on. And what we were expecting the Iranians to do was everybody else ships can go through, but their ports will still remain blocked. So yeah, obviously that wasn't going to work. But what Trump was trying to do there was to get them to come to the table for a nuclear deal, which they obviously said kick rocks, we're not doing. We're just going to shut down the strait again. And now we're here at a stalemate when it comes to negotiations.
A short and powerful wave of strikes on Iran, likely including infrastructure targets, in hopes of breaking the negotiating deadlock, three sources with knowledge said. The hope would be that Iran would then return to the negotiating table, showing more flexibility on the nuclear issue. But when asked Wednesday if he's considering more strikes, the president did not commit, at least publicly. He touts his blockade of Iranian ships. He reportedly sees that as his most effective source of leverage against the regime.
Now they have to cry uncle. That's all they have to do. Just say, we give up, when you have to fly 18 hours every day.
Guys, here's the problem with that blockade. So not Russia, but Iran could still access Russia through the Caspian Sea. They have railways that can go through Kazakhstan that can get over there to China. So two of their biggest buyers, they still have access to, without the Strait of Hormuz. Like I said, through the Caspian Sea, which is north of Iran, and of course, a railway system that they have with the Chinese to deliver, well, goods. And they're thinking about starting putting the oil on there. Actually, well, they've already started doing so.
Time you want to have a meeting, and you know what the meeting is all about, and you know they're going to give you a piece of paper that you don't like before you even leave. It's ridiculous.
Oh, and this is why we're striking them, guys. Remember, this is why we're striking them. What I just said, because it's proven that the blockade is not actually going to hurt Iran the way we've been framing it. So, I mean, think about it. If that was the case, then why not just wait it out? Actually, they said by today their pipes were supposed to burst, but they didn't. So, since that didn't work, we got to go in there and strike Iran. Well, we really don't, but this is what Trump is pretty much telling us.
They've come a long way. The question is whether or not they're going to go far enough. So at this moment, there will never be a deal unless they agree that there will be no nuclear weapons.
But Iran's parliament speaker is mocking the U.S. strategy, saying 3 days in, no well.
Oh, guys, make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen. Appreciate the support.
Exploded. We could extend to 30 and live stream the well here. That was the kind of junk advice the U.S. administration gets from people like Bessent, who also pushed the blockade theory and cranked oil up to more than $120. Next stop, $140.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. That was not a good decision because, yes, bro, Brent crude is at 118. WTI is at $7. That's a lot, guys, and it's right here in front of us. So, yeah. I have no idea why they thought that blockade wasn't going to skyrocket gas prices. I see that they wanted to try to starve Iran, but now we see that was kind of a pipe dream because they still have access to their main buyers, one through the Caspian Sea in Russia, and then a railway to China. But, I mean, hey, at least we tried, right?
The issue isn't the theory, it's the mindset. Axios reports other options the president is considering include taking over part of the Strait of Hormuz to reopen it to commercial shipping and using special forces to secure Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium.
Hey, and shout out to my man Gaming. He says, open up the live call-in. He sent it on Venmo. You know what, bro? I got you. I got you on this one. Because me and you, we need to go ahead and react to that Hegseth, because you definitely got way more knowledge on me on military stuff.
If Iran does not strike a deal. And Carly.
Maddie, thanks.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.
All right, let's get over to
Trump and the national security team. Among the issues in the briefing, the U.S. Turning now to Operation Epic Fury, the head of U.S. Central Command is set to go to the White House later today. He'll be meeting with President Trump and the national security team. Among the issues in the briefing, the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports. Brian Yanis, live in Tel Aviv with more. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Dana. Good morning. Well, Iran's Supreme Leader Mujtaba Khamenei has released a new written statement today that was read aloud by a presenter on Iranian state TV. It calls the United States the Great Satan and vows to protect Iran's nuclear and missile capabilities. The statement, also posted on X, says this about Americans, quote, those foreigners from thousands of kilometers away who are greedily carrying out transgressions in the Persian Gulf and Sea of Oman have no place here except at the bottom of its waters. Iran will put an end to the hostile enemy's exploitation of the Strait of Hormuz. Now, Khamenei went on to declare that the Strait of Hormuz is under Iran's new management.
It's hilarious because the exploitation, like, you know, well, I get it. We attacked Iran. That's the whole reason why they're exploiting the Strait of Hormuz. But to call us the exploiters as well is absolutely hilarious. The pot calling the kettle black, to be real.
And rules, reiterating Iran's intent to control the strait and continue charging some ships tolls. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told Fox that this would be completely unacceptable to the U.S. and the world. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps commander Ahmed Vahidi is thought to actually be the one calling the shots in Iran. The supreme leader, who is said to be seriously wounded from Operation Epic Fury, has not made one public appearance since he became the Ayatollah 2 months ago. But for now,
and from what I've been hearing, I heard that he's missing a leg. They're trying to get him an artificial leg. He pretty much got caught up in that blast that killed his father, except he barely made it. He got like singed lips. He's still able to talk, still able to carry out commands, but the man is disfigured.
Now, President Trump has opted to extend the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports and continue the economic sanctions with the goal of collapsing Iran's economy, forcing them into a deal to end its nuclear weapons program.
We were able to grab about 350 million crypto assets, and then on top of another 100 that we had recently gotten. So we're almost at $500 million there. And we are freezing bank accounts everywhere. More importantly, we are making people less willing to deal with the regime.
President Trump has not taken new military strikes off the table.
See, here's a problem with what he's saying. Actually, people are now more willing to deal with Iran controlling the Strait of Hormuz than allowing this war to keep going on. We got China going behind our backs to go make a deal with Iran so they can get their oil. Not China, but Japan. Japan made a deal behind our backs to go get their oil. Pakistan, India, they're all making deals behind our back to make sure they get their oil. Why? Because the Strait of Hormuz contains about 50 to 80% of their oil. So they can't really go without it like we can. That's why when Trump says, oh, we don't need it, I mean, cool. But our allies sure as hell do. And they don't got as much, they don't got a time clock like we do.
It's warned Iran to get smart soon, or else. Dana.
Or else we all see what that means. Thank you, Brian.
So retired Lieutenant General Karen Gibson's here, former Director of Intelligence for U.S. Central Command. You got quite the resume, General. Thanks for your time. And now we have decisions before the president as to what to do next. Here was the question.
Oh, guys, make sure to double tap that screen like the video, guys. Let's get more people in on the conversation by double tapping that screen.
And then the answer from the Oval Office.
Do you think another wave of strikes will be necessary?
I don't know. It depends. We're having talks with them now, and we're not flying anymore with 18-hour flights. They've come a long way. The question is whether or not they're going to go far enough. So at this moment, there will never be a deal unless they agree that there will be no nuclear weapons.
Okay.
See, here's the problem. They've always agreed that they won't have any nuclear weapons. But what Trump is really talking about is that they cannot have any type of enrichment capability. In Iran, well, they feel like they have a right to enrich. Well, they are part of the non-proliferation treaty, so they do have a right to enrich. Let's just be clear. But Trump wants to take that right away. He doesn't trust them with that right. And they're saying, well, I'm sorry, but we're not going to talk about enrichment. We'll promise you we'll never make a nuke. We'll let you have the inspectors on the ground to view our enrichment, but we're not giving it up. And Trump's like, look, either you're going to give it up or we're going to keep this going. And it looks like we're going to keep it going.
Options before him are obvious. What's the best one right now?
Well, I think it's interesting that I characterize the first part of this campaign as the kinetic portion from February 28th to April 8th, in which we imposed punishing airstrikes from the U.S. and Israeli militaries, and Iran countered with missiles and drones against infrastructure across the Gulf. Since the 8th, we've entered this economic phase. I like the term Operation Economic Fury, in which we are both using military assets to try to squeeze each other economically. Iran's strategy has always been make this campaign so politically and economically intolerable for us that we would decide to call it quits. Hence their chokehold on the Straits of Hormuz. But now we've countered with this blockade, turning back, as I understand, over.
Yeah, but here's a problem, though. It's not only the American people that's tapping their watch going like, hey, yo, hurry this up. But it's our allies around the world that's also tapping their watches like, so, like, bro, how long is this going to take? We're running out of oil. People are getting desperate. And we're kind of having a fertilizer problem. So not just an energy problem is coming to hit us, but a food crisis as well. So please, Trump, can you hurry this up? And Trump is telling the reporters, hey, don't rush me.
From the sea, goods, primarily oil and petrochemicals that are transited from the sea. They already had a failing economy. That's what generated the popular protests at the end of 2025 and the start of 26. But they've proved very resilient in the past to economic pressure, whether that was the pre-JCPOA sanctions or the maximum pressure campaign of the first Trump administration. I think the final thing I'd say on this is that the regime has never prioritized the economic well-being of its own people, even under the previous sanction regimes when they had limited access.
I mean, what can they do when we're sanctioning them out the Wuhan? We're pretty much, like, honestly annexing them out the global economy. So, like, what are they supposed to do? Like, we're literally destroying their economy. Like, you can't sit there and act like at this point it's just reckless spending. No, we put sanctions on them all around. We have billions of dollars of their money, like, due to these sanctions. Like, and plus, we destroyed their currency. Scott Besson admitted to doing so, pulling economic levers to destroy the real. And now what? $1 is worth 1.4, 1.6 million. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. We did this to them. And it's kind of one of the reasons why they yell death to America, because they know we did this. Now, you may not know, but they do.
Assets, they still prioritized funds to proxies and to their own military. So I think it remains to be seen how much it will take in terms of economic pressure to get them to make those additional concessions.
Oh, that's actually a really good point she made. It's like, yeah, how long is it going to take to make them concessions? Because they've been going through economic turmoil for a minute now, and they're still able to fund their proxies. They're still able to build their missiles, still able to grow their food. Why they're able to do this? Because they're a self-sustaining country like America, believe it or not. Like, they grow 80% of their foods. All of their missiles are made in-house. Actually, it's like they're more made in-house than ours. They don't even really got to go outside of their country to go get stuff to make their missiles and drones. So there's that as well. That's why economically strangling these guys is hard, because they got the same economic fortitude, not as good, but as Russia.
I mentioned this Wall Street Journal article last hour. I think it was so well done because there's a view inside of Iran. And at the end, the expert says Iranians will suffer hardship, but their pain tolerance threshold is higher. Yeah. And that's something we really have to gauge. In the meantime, you're in the military, and with regard to hardware in the region, we're about to send a missile in that we've never used before. All right, it's called a hypersonic missile. Bloomberg headline: U.S. seeks to deploy a hypersonic missile for the first time. It's called the Dark Eagle. It has a range of 7.
Hey, we're bringing out the Dark Eagle. I remember, actually, yeah, it was me and Gaming that was talking about this. He's the one who informed me on this. So yes, we've been experimenting with a hypersonic missile called Dark Eagle, and I guess we're bringing it out to play. So let's see how this all works out, because Iran got hypersonic missiles. Shoot, they got 2 versions of a hypersonic missile. So let's see what we can do, because Lord knows we ain't trying to use a nuke. So let's see if we can make them bend with hypersonic missiles. I doubt it, but let's see.
1,500 miles, can exceed Mach 5, which is greater than 4,000 miles an hour, $15 million each. I can tell you this, General, we were at the Reagan Defense Forum 2 years ago, and the entire forum was talking about hypersonic weapons 2 years ago.
Jesus, cost 15 mil? That makes sense. 15 million. All right.
And the entire forum was talking about hypersonic weapons, because the Russians and the Chinese had beaten us so badly at this, and we had yet to really develop an effective one. Do you have confidence in the hypersonic?
No, we really did get too cocky. Like, we got too cocky with our Air Force and our Navy and submarines, and we never really got into the hypersonic missiles. We didn't really see it as a necessity until now, until we started seeing how other countries start deploying them and how effective they are on the battlefield.
And that we've developed.
Russia.
And if it were to be deployed, could we do it effectively now?
Yes. So to be fair, that's not something that I've tracked closely in terms of this performance of a weapon that has not been tested on the battlefield. I would make one comment that the Central Command submits a number of RFFs, or requests for forces, and it implies that the commander is considering various options that might require the use of those forces, such as elements of the 82nd Airborne Division, which are over now in the Middle East, but have not yet been used. And so just because an RFF has gone in, request for forces, doesn't mean there's a plan for its imminent use. But certainly, I think the commander wants to expand the range of options that are available to him beyond those already punishing airstrikes that we've done. It signals greater commitment and resolve on the part of the United States. And I think, is something that is clearly being contemplated to use if it turns that this economic pressure.
But then how much of those do we have just to be firing off into Iran? That's what also I want to know, because we are running a little bit low on munitions. So, I mean, what are we just coming in with a fresh new load? How much of these do you got made? And I mean, how long you think you can keep firing these? Because if you only got a month's supply and thinking that you're going to take out Iran with them, I mean, I hope, but it's unlikely. But all right, though, let's get to the next video, and then we're going to go ahead and bring in some of the guests on, because shout out to my man Gaming. He's already in the background.
President Trump is now threatening to pull U.S. troops out of Germany as NATO nations continue to fall short on helping Iran.
Oh, guys, make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen. Appreciate the support. Let's get right into it.
Well, Iran's supreme leader is making new threats against the U.S. and our allies.
Our senior White House correspondent, Jackie Heinrich, joins us now with the latest. Hey, Jackie.
Good morning, guys. More than 1/5 of U.S. active duty troops overseas are based in Germany, about 35,000. And now President Trump is threatening a drawdown after German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said Iran is, quote, humiliating the United States. President Trump posted this. The United States is studying and reviewing the possible reduction of troops in Germany with a determination to be made over the next short period of time. Thank you for your attention to this matter. His frustration bubbled over after Merz spoke to a group of German students.
I'm not gonna lie, it does look like our relationship with NATO just might be done, but I hope not, because if our relationship with NATO is done, then these NATO countries got like two choices. Either they move towards a more friendly superpower, like, okay, definitely not gonna be Russia, so they might just move towards China for protection, or these NATO countries start individually focusing on their military capability. And I think they might just focus individually on the military capability instead of getting in bed with China or Russia. Like, Lord knows they don't want to do that.
The Americans clearly have no strategy. An entire nation is being humiliated by the Iranian state leadership, especially by these so-called revolutionary guards.
President Trump posted Tuesday, the Chancellor of Germany, Friedrich Merz, thinks it's okay for Iran.
I mean, you have a point, but I don't like him saying it. I'm like, it's like, bro, who country you talk about again? Not mine. But I mean, this is a problem. We are kind of getting embarrassed on the world stage by not being able to take out, what was it? Iran is the weakest it's ever been, right? It's the weakest it's ever been, but we're in a 2-month war with them. Like, does that make sense?
To have a nuclear weapon. He doesn't know what he's talking about. If Iran had a nuclear weapon, the whole world would be held hostage. I am doing something with Iran right now that other nations or presidents should have done long ago. No wonder Germany is doing so poorly, both economically and otherwise. Now, the chancellor is trying to smooth things over, saying he still has a good relationship with President Trump, and he's expressed his doubts about the war since the beginning. He added that Germany...
Now, do you want to know why the German chancellor is snapping right now? Because he's going to go through an energy crisis that he was already going through. Like, bro, gas prices were not good in Germany, and now he's about to go through a fertilizer problem as well, brought on by the United States of America. So I can see why he's a bit irritated with Trump right now.
Must live up to its leading military role in Europe. President Trump says all this could go away if Iran would just cry uncle and agree to end their nuclear program. But the Supreme Leader vowed to protect Iran's nuclear program as a national asset in a written statement this morning, saying, quote, we and our neighbors across the waters of the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman share a common destiny. Foreigners who come from thousands of kilometers away to act with greed and malice there have no place in it except at the bottom of its waters.
Okay.
Today, President Trump will be briefed on possible military plans by CENTCOM commander.
So yeah, and I mean, what was it? Khomeini released a statement today. Like, of course, you got to go to Al Jazeera to hear it. And don't worry, we'll bring it once this video is done. We'll get to that one. But also, I want to bring in guest dude as well. Well, not guest dude, but gaming. Guest dude, you can come up as well, too.
Reports, though, he has already expressed a preference for an extended naval blockade, saying it is more effective at degrading what's left of the Iranian regime and also reducing its revenue generators like its oil. Guys.
Hey, Jackie, are you jealous of me because I had an exclusive on Sunday night and I got an exclusive that you couldn't get because I had you and your fiance on at the same time? Is there a little bit of bitterness because I got the exclusive and you didn't?
I was so honored to do our first appearance together with you, Ryan. So
you were
it
great.
was friendly media appearance.
Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. Unfortunately, we both went through things together, so it was great to get both of your perspectives. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jackie.
So let's talk about Iran. I mean, right now, it looks as though the president's getting frustrated. I think they were able to absorb a lot of the economic pain. I mean, here in America, you get gas at $4 a gallon. It's panic politically. In Iran, it's so different. The people are so tortured on a regular basis. Their life is so, sadly, so miserable that when you just tell them their money's worthless, that food is gone, your jobs are gone.
No, their money is worthless, but they produce 80% of their own food, bro. So no, their food is right there. That's the problem. That's why Iran just don't give a fuck right now, because they know that this whole fertilizer problem is going to be a problem for all the other countries, but them, a country that produces 80% of its food. So the food's good, the currency's trash, and the people are rallying around the flag against the so-called great state in America. Like crazy.
And they don't care. They have the guns. They got the twisted interpretation of Islam, and they're going to be able to withstand it. Unfortunately, I think the only logical thing is probably the option the president doesn't want to do, and I can understand it, is go back militarily. We have the targets. We've now had a few weeks to arm up the Arab states. Israel has come into the UAE and said,
here's a problem. I mean, they have underground cities, underground bunkers that they hold these drones and missiles and all that good stuff. And I mean, we can hit those on top. Like, we can do all the airstrikes we want, but we won't reach those, and they'll still continue to have this missile and drone capability. That's what I'm saying. These airstrikes are useless. And if we really want to get some progress done, we'd have to put boots on the ground. But nobody wants to do that. I mean, trust me, I don't, you don't, and the president don't. Well, I don't know. Maybe he does, but people are holding him back. You never know.
take some of our Iron Dome. We know they're going to target there again, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia, and just go take them out.
I think it's true that he doesn't want to do it, but he'll do it if it's necessary. And I think when it comes to, we got to look at this pain a little different when it comes to economic. Any type of pressure on the people, they don't care about. So when we talk about economic pain, that's not going to impact them.
Yeah,
but when it comes to the economic pain, straining their military and them being able to buy weapons and fund their terror proxies, that will hurt them.
And that's what Besant did with crypto.
Bingo. So,
yeah, but you don't think that Russia and China are helping them out with the weapons? You don't think that? And according to our what was it? According to that congressional hearing with Pete Hegseth, yeah, Iran has made about $14 billion. I mean, I wonder how much Chinese missiles they can buy with that. That was literally the question he asked Hegseth. I was like, hey, I mean, he got you there, dog. He got you there. He's like, oh, they got $14 billion they can still play with. I hope you know that. And this ain't America. $14 billion don't go a long way in America, but it sure does go a long way in other countries.
I think that's what they're focused on right now. You know, there are some reports that the Gulf states may get involved on this next round. I would like to see that happen.
And there are different stories about our depletion of our missile stockpiles. They're worried about, some people are worried about, are we using too many? Do we have enough in our arsenal now of the Patriot interceptors, the Tomahawk cruise missiles, the Joint Air to Surface standoff missiles?
I mean, no, here's the problem. If you actually read the report, what was it? It came from the Center for Strategic and International Studies. If you read it, they're pretty much saying, I mean, we got it, but the problem is, though, we're sacrificing pretty much a war with China for war with Iran. So if China ever want to take Taiwan, we won't be able to stop them in the future because we're engaging in this conflict/war right here. So this is what I mean. We're sacrificing a conflict with China, or being able to stop China for war with Iran.
Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of War, and General Raising Cane are saying that we are well supplied. The Pentagon is saying that we are well supplied, that our reserves remain robust. And J.D. Vance, our vice president, he was on the Will Cain show, and he was talking about our military readiness. Listen to this.
Of course I'm concerned about, our readiness, because that's my job to be concerned. But I think that Pete Hegseth, our Department of War Secretary, I think General Cain, our chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, they're doing an amazing job. But it's, of course, my job to ask these questions. It's, of course, my job to make sure that we're on top of every issue. And, of course, it's the president's job, too. And I think that both of us are very focused on that. But we've got a great military, a military that can do a lot, Will. So don't believe everything you read, especially in papers like The Atlantic.
This whole mission is for.
Oh, guys, make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Appreciate support, by the way. And let's go ahead and bring in my man, Gaming, man. Long time no see, bro.
Yo, what's up, my man? What
Man,
is up?
Man, it's all good. So what you think about how the war is going so far?
So I'm gonna go ahead and say it again. Exactly how I said it's gonna play out is exactly how it's been playing out, and I've been just sipping my tea to all the naysayers. Like I said before, it's fresh in my memory. Not 20 years ago, not 10 years ago. We're talking about like 2 years ago, 3 years ago at best. When I was deployed over there, and exactly what was going to happen. We shut down the straits with a naval blockade. They threw mines in the water. We deployed mine countermeasure assets, and now we're doing stuff in retaliation. So this is a stalemate. This was that stalemate I was talking about we'd eventually reach when the war first started off. Because we have the capabilities to disarm their mine and naval blockades, and they also have the capabilities to basically shut down the strait, not necessarily disable our naval advances, but to disable the straits. And that's what a lot of people kind of confuse.
All right, well, shoot. I do want to get into this Hegseth reaction. So, guys, let's make sure we double tap that screen and like the video, guys. If you have any question, comment, jokes, or disagreements, you can go ahead and super chat it in, or you can Venmo or hit it up on the Rumble rant. But all right, guys, let's get right into it.
From Pennsylvania, Mr. DeLuzio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We all just heard pretty powerful reporting, courtesy of Mr. Ryan, from many of our wounded troops who were injured in the attack in Kuwait. Mr. Secretary, you heard direct quotes from some of them via CBS's reporting. They were willing to talk to the press. Things like they were unprepared to provide any defense for themselves in the unit. Things like we were moved closer to Iran, to a deeply unsafe area that was a known target. Your spokesperson, Sean Parnell, in response to that reporting, said it was not true. Do you agree with that? He was calling these guys liars?
I'm not calling our troops liars, and I don't know if what you're representing is correct or not. I'll take you at your word on that. But all I know is that we took every effort possible at the commencement of this campaign to ensure the defense of our troops, to include moving them off of known bases to places that were not known, and we had intel.
Understood,
intel
Secretary.
And then those were fortified with bunkers and other fortifications with theater air defenses. Was our concern that something could
I'm going to pause you there. I'm going to give you a chance.
Absolutely.
Secretary, I'm going to
You're
give you a
disparaging me that I don't care.
I mean, let's be real, though. When you popped off this strike, I'm going to be real with you. We did put the American bases in danger, where they were hit, and soldiers did die because of that. Because there really wasn't too much for pre-warning. And then there's what he's also talking about is that there was military guys that were complaining, pretty much saying that, yo, he's putting us in dangerous positions that they know could possibly be hit. And I'm just like, well, that was done at the beginning of the war.
So hold up. So one of the bases that they were at, it actually was a forward base. It wasn't even the main hub. The bases that actually matter is like the Kuwait base, the main Kuwait base, the main Iraq base, the Bahraini base that I was on. I can tell you for a fact, those are like some of the main bases because they control key functions of the U.S. military operation over there, which is why I can tell you for a fact, because I have had people contact me when the bombings happened, they were moved off. What they're complaining about is they had the skeleton crew stationed there at these secondary and forward operating bases to make sure that one, it's kind of messed up. People ain't gonna like this, but they needed to draw the attention of the drones. It's kind of the name of the game.
Yeah, but like, but with the 6 people that died in the trailer, remember that was because of a drone hitting a base.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said that's the name of the game. It's not politically correct to say, and people don't like hearing that. But the name of the game sometimes is you got to be a body in the middle of gunfire just to draw the fire away from what's actually important. And the only base that was actually hit of any significance was NSA 2. But like I told you before, I served over there. I lived over there. I know exactly what was hit, and that wasn't anything of any real
I don't know,
significance.
dog. I'm reading reports saying that our air bases are actually pretty much destroyed in that region.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
no.
all right. Well, we'll see. That's what I don't know why I'm hearing that from all over, that our air bases are pretty much like not decimated, but all of them got hit and sustained significant damage.
I want to see these reports, because if I don't see certain bases on there, I'm gonna be like, yeah, nah, they're full of it.
All right, I got you.
Here,
I'm asking you whether you think they're liars or not.
You
That's what I
and
asked
you
you.
are disparaging me that I don't care about the passing of our troops.
Nope.
That
I asked
think
if you
our
thought
troops
they're
are-
liars, Terry.
That's disparaging and smearing in every way. Nobody cares more about the fate of our troops. Nobody cares about the health of our troops.
Mr. Secretary,
Nobody wants to bring them all hope
Mr.
more than I do.
Secretary, I understand, but he controls the time. He controls the time. You get to control your answer. And the gentleman's right.
If we're allowed to.
All right, I got you though. So pretty much, has U.S. bases in the Middle East been destroyed? As of late April 2026, Iranian strikes have caused extensive damage to U.S. military bases in the Middle East, rendering several uninhabitable and causing over $800 million to $1.5 billion in damages. Key facilities in Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain sustained significant damage to radars, aircrafts, and infrastructures, forcing personnel to relocate. And let's see here. This comes from the Times. Whoops.
Yeah, I don't believe anything in the Times.
Did they say up? Not just the Times, my friend. It comes from other articles as well, other ones as well. So
no, I'm asking.
Times, we got BBC, and then we also have. Well, I wouldn't believe Reddit if I were you either. But the Times and the BBC are reporting on this.
So let me
NBC
ask
News.
Let me ask you a follow-up question then. So whenever these attacks come out, they usually label extensive damage. Did they say what specifically was what specifically was damaged?
Yeah, they said let's see here. They said what was it? Radars, aircrafts, and infrastructure. So pretty much parts of buildings and all that good stuff.
So the reason why I'm asking that is because we still have jets taking off from Bahrain and Kuwait and Qatar and all these other places. And that's like a discrepancy those sources have to like reconcile with. Plus there's tons of video. Plus there's tons of video evidence that shows like they just hit random spots. Maybe a couple of them found their mark, but for the most part, most of them didn't hit anything.
I don't know about that, dog. We got a little bit too much reporting just to sit there and say, oh no, like we got CNN, bro. We got Facebook turnout. There's all type of articles. I mean, shoot, we even got straight up American Enterprise Institute. And these guys are dead in the middle. So, I mean, it seems like this is actually pretty accurate. I mean, I can check and see if any jets have left Kuwait and Qatar, but it does seem like our bases have been rendered inhabitable. And that's what I'm saying. I've just been reading all these reports, and that's where I'm getting it from. If you're telling me not, and you got, special information on it, then all right. But I'm just telling you what I'm reading here. Because I know when I tell that to people, they'd be like, come on, Seth, really? And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, this is what they're telling us.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like coming at it from a different angle. So I'm like, that don't make any sense, because them ships all of them just ain't sitting out there. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
I know there's a few that are actually transiting to and from the Gulf, which is why, if you notice, Iran isn't necessarily sending out their little fast attack boats and their speedboats, because there's a ton of other vessels that the U.S. has that are already in the Gulf that are waiting for that exact thing.
I mean, yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. But Iran is like, they're not leaving that the strait, though. They're like, the curved part of the Strait of Hormuz. They're pretty much staying around there, and that's all they pretty much need to control. While America sits out there in the Gulf of what is it?
Aden.
Aden, yes, Gulf of Aden. Thank you. So yeah. So that's
I'm saying we already have vessels in the Persian Gulf.
Yeah, that's true, but that's what I'm saying. But it's that curved part of the strait. I damn don't want to bring it up on maps. That's why like Iran just has this overwhelming control, because even if we have ships on either side, we really can't open the strait forcefully. Well, maybe we could, but we can't do it forcefully without other things getting damaged or other people's ships getting caught up.
Well, I mean, we could.
Oh man, that'd be,
I mean,
oh man,
all of
that'd be
this,
waste interceptors.
not necessarily. I mean, here's the thing that I don't like. We don't need to be going through this gas shortage. Like I said before, we have plenty of LNG, gas, all the fertilizer we could possibly need.
Yeah,
So,
we do, but not the world.
You're right. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm not particularly too caring about what Europe needs, especially considering they've made their whole personality archetype bash on Americans all the time.
Yeah, look, I get the whole, we don't like the Europeans and all that. And look, if we was going to get out of NATO because they don't want to protect themselves and pay their bills, I mean, that's cool. But trying to drag these guys into a war was a bit much. But hold on. Let's get back to the
I mean, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before you end on that one, they do it to us all the time. They literally, just last year, they tried to get us to intervene in the Ukrainian war. Even the Biden admin was like, nah, that's not a good idea. And they kept
through proxy.
Right. And it's
and
like,
we did. And you're right. That was dumb. You're right. It is the pot calling the kettle black in a way, but they were asking for proxy support. We're asking for full-on military interventions. We want your ships in the strait.
Yeah, because we do the bulk of the work, and you guys saved all that money giving out welfare to freaking illegal immigrants. The least you could do is come and help protect shipping.
Yeah, but here's the problem though. Like, remember, this would be, look, if it was about just like fighting off pirates, okay, great. But this is fighting off Iran. So it's like we're pretty much dragging them into a conflict that we didn't inform them about. They didn't even know we were gonna do this, but they're suffering the most from it.
Do you really think
we
they
just
would help
expect
us?
them to want to get dragged into a conflict like that? I don't know. Seems like a bit of a dickhead move.
Hey, bro. Pot calling the kettle black is all I gotta say.
Man, that's true, man. All right, you got that point. I gotta give it to you on that one. Hey, man, shout out to my man K7Z for sending 100 joules for two. What was it? Yeah, he said 100 joules, not 100 joules, but 100 for 2 joules. And shout out to my man Noah Joyner. Like I said, go get all the plastic from the GPGP and turn it into crude oil, and we could charge them for US to clean it and charge to sell the crude oil. Man, only
Pretty
people
much.
thinking like, no.
Forward thinking, man.
Hey, and shout out to my man Anonymous for sending the Laughing Disco for $250. But all right, guys, let's get back into Hegseth, though.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Secretary, my question was clear, whether you thought they were liars or not. You don't seem to want to answer it. We can move on. The other part of what your spokesman said, and you just reiterated here, was that, and I'm quoting your spokesman, every possible measure has been taken to safeguard our troops, end quote. You mean to tell us, and I'll give you a chance to clarify, there is not a single additional thing you could have done to protect those troops who are now wounded, 6 of whom are dead?
I'm telling you that as a department, we did every conceivable thing at my level and every echelon down to ensure the maximum force protection for our troops. We live in a dangerous world, in a dangerous place against a determined enemy that can't have a nuclear weapon, and that requires sacrifice and risk. And it tragically, in this case, it meant 6 Americans lost their lives and others were wounded. And we all know that. And that's part of the cost. But it does not mean we didn't care. It doesn't mean we didn't commit.
I didn't ask you that.
It doesn't mean we
Secretary,
didn't do everything possible, which we did.
But let's be clear about what was done. There were T-walls there, essentially. There was no overhead protection. The known threat in that environment, I think we all here understand it, is overhead drone strike. There was no protection for overhead drone strike. So I'm struggling to understand how your answer and your spokesman's answer is that every possible measure was taken. We can move on. Mr. Chairman, Chairman Kane, I want to ask you something about a different topic. Folks at home know you're the senior military officer in our armed services. They may not have as much of an understanding of your role in the chain of command. You're outside the operational chain of command, but you are the president's and the secretary's senior military advisor. So I want to ask a very basic thing, what you would expect our commanders in the field, our troops to do should the enemy lay down their weapons and try to surrender. What would you expect commanders in the field to do?
Well, sir, I think I'll go back to something I said earlier with deep respect for your question, but I think you're trying to take me to a partisan place here, and I can't let you do that.
General, as always, I respect your
no, sir.
desire
I just
to avoid it. I'm not
yes,
trying
sir.
to put you in a partisan
no,
place.
and I know that, but our officers and enlisted service members always follow lawful orders. There's a checklist for them to do that, and I'll stay in the
Very
middle.
good. Understood, General. Secretary, let me give you a chance. And you've been asked about this earlier. You said in, I think, your press conference, essentially, and I'll quote you here, no quarter, no mercy for our enemies. That's the end of the quote. Is your guidance that you expect our troops in harm's way, if there's a foreign enemy surrendering, laying down their arms, they're supposed to provide no quarter and kill them?
Oh, he's splitting hairs, bro.
You denied
Stop
it.
it.
You were indeed trying to take the chairman to a partisan place. That was General Milley.
Yeah.
That was the previous.
Okay, hold on, bro. Break that
Yeah.
down.
So General Milley said that, number one, like he just said. And number two, we have the right to disobey that. First of all, ROE, like me and Monty said before, the rules of engagement are simple. You can't shoot somebody who's surrendering. So we already know that before we even get into a military engagement with the enemy. So that question was thoroughly disingenuous.
Yeah. like you said, like you are trying to take him to a partisan place, but all right, all right, bro. Let's get into the next one. Appreciate you breaking that one down.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, General Kane, Mr. Hegseth, and hers.
Oh, guys, make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen and subscribe to the channel while you're at it.
For being here today. I associate myself with the comments of Ranking Member Smith and Mr. Garamendi so that I won't repeat a lot of what has been said. Mr. Hegseth, I recently realized that we have something in common. I'm also a fan of Pulp Fiction. And no, the movie is not an accurate portrayal of the Bible. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This president and his administration have claimed to be the most transparent of all time. With that in mind, I'd love to get some straightforward answers today. Some estimates show that the Trump administration's war of choice in Iran is costing taxpayers around $1 billion every day. In addition to spending taxpayer money on a war they don't want, it is also driving up costs. The cost of gas, while the cost of living is skyrocketing under this administration's policies. To me, and I assume to the American people, it is.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, this war is political suicide. I mean, not only is it affecting us in our pockets, but most people in America does not agree with us being in this war. We do feel like it's a war, or no, we understand it to be a war of choice and not a war of necessity. So when a lot of Americans think that about this war while dealing with higher gas prices, while seeing inflation tick up, it's political suicide. And at this point, this is why I always like to say, like, sadly, in our group, MAGA, we sacrificed the midterms for war with Iran.
Unclear why we started this war, how it will end, and what anyone gained from it. Mr. Hegseth, about how much money has been spent on this war to date, and how much more do you anticipate spending?
Well, as our comptroller laid out, the estimate is less than $25 billion at this point as far as an expenditure. And the question I would ask this committee is, what is it worth to ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon, considering the radical ambitions of that regime? I mean, almost every member of this dais at some point
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. We have no proof that Iran was going towards a nuclear weapon. None at all. And if we did, like I said, I would be all aboard. But if we had proof for any type of traits that they were even going towards 90% enrichment, I would give them the argument. But we have no proof of that. We have no proof they're going towards a nuclear weapon. And here's the thing. I'm not saying because we have no proof they're not doing it, because if they are doing it, it's because we're attacking them. And they've been using this enrichment as pretty much hedging since 2021. Yes, they have 6% enrichment since 2021. So if they really wanted to get to a bomb, they could have did it a while ago. So this has pretty much been used as a hedging to deter us from further aggression, which obviously didn't work.
So here's the thing that is a bit stupid to say for that guy that asked the question, and that's almost where I completely checked out of the hearing, because he asked that dumb question like, how much money do you intend to spend? Do you really think the American people want that? How much money did we spend on illegals? Wasn't it a few billion? How much fraud did we find in Minnesota again? Man, that couldn't be 19 billion, right?
Yeah,
right. How much money did we decide to spend in, like I said, Ukraine? No. Oh,
that's true.
A ton.
Yeah, that's true. But here's the thing, though, and with that argument, that's the problem. Why this should be seen as not the smartest move, because even when we got into that little skirmishing or this proxy war in Ukraine, that drove up prices, that drove up inflation.
Thank
That's
you.
went up then too. So
and it's like you can't pick and choose,
True.
what's right and what's not. You sitting over here trying to rally Americans to go support a foreign country because a bunch of Europeans decided to piss their time away and not ramp up their military defense capabilities to go help a cause that they feel strongly about, but you encouraged us to go spend money on it.
Hey, that's a good point. When it comes to the Russian-Ukraine war, that's a good point. But, and I mean, look, I get it. But the main problem is that there's just there's very high disapproval for this war. And
I mean, there was high disapproval
like,
for
we at like $25 billion in.
How much aid do we send to Ukraine? And I know it was way more than 25 billion.
Spent, but in weapons and weapons and currency, it was about 350 million. So, like I said, I'll give you that point on Ukraine. But the problem with this war right here is that we kind of all seen this coming because of what went down in Ukraine, and Trump still walked into it. So people are going to be pissed because it's like you made the same mistake as Biden, but we voted for you not to be like Biden.
That's a fair point. And when people get mad like that, I'm like, okay, yeah, you got a fair point right there. But what he's trying to do is he's trying to play this partisan politic game. Like, we would never, dog, if y'all had the freaking House or if y'all had all of the political control for any longer than you did, we would have been sending trillions.
I mean, it's so hilarious. I do like to show them when, like, what was it? Kamala Harris said that she wanted to go to war with Iran.
Right.
She said that out of her mouth in an interview. At least Trump was smart enough not to say it out loud. She just said it out loud. This is why she was such a terrible candidate.
She campaigned on it. Like, when they talk about sorry, I'm also making guacamole.
No, you good.
When they talked about what they're gonna do, what their plans are for Ukraine, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, she was like, we're gonna send our allies help so we can be unburdened by that soup salad that nobody can ever fully understand
by what
has
been.
You're the first person I know that can say that successfully.
It was just too funny. But all right, guys. All right, let's get back to it.
Dead. Whether it was
thank you for your answer. I'll proceed to my next question.
Nuclear weapon.
Thank you for your answer.
President Trump is the one that's willing to make sure it doesn't happen.
Supposedly, we have taken care of the nuclear capability last time around.
We do got a bit of some good news now. House approved Senate bill to fund DHS, ending record-long shutdown. So, guys, yes, DHS will now be funded. The shutdown is, seems like it's officially over. So, hey, shout out. Guys, don't forget to double tap that screen and like the video.
And now this war, we're at it again, because obviously we said we did, but we didn't.
In a way that
we know.
The United States military can do.
I want to reclaim my time. We know that the cost of oil and gas has gone up as a direct result of this war, and the American people are feeling that pain at the pump. In an attempt to alleviate the high price of gas caused directly by this president, he lifted sanctions on Russian oil. The way I see it, this is a massive gift to Putin and Russia's struggling economy. Mr. Hegseth, is there any concern that easing sanctions against Russia will allow Putin to continue funding Russia's illegal war against Ukraine?
Well, we've seen Russia's and Putin's inability to make effective battlefield gains, just like their inability to defend the Maduro regime with the billions of dollars of systems the Russians sent to Venezuela in order to defend him, which were defeated in 15 minutes. So Russia's military capabilities are no match for hours.
And you don't
when it
believe
comes to
easing
ensuring,
the sanctions is helping Russia?
well, we have the best energy team in the planet
It's just a yes or
White
no.
House. We're going to ensure that
this is not deja.
I'll be real with you. It is tough to defend. Like, you guys released sanctions off Iranian and Russian oil, and now these guys were selling their oil at $40 a barrel. Now they're doing it at $90 a barrel. So I'm be real with you. You're definitely helping these guys out when you lifted those sanctions. Maybe not Iran so much, but definitely Russia.
It's a simple yes or no.
You understand the energy dominance that this administration has unleashed.
All right. Well, I'll proceed to my next question.
Strategy.
Last week, it was announced that the Department of Defense is no longer requiring service members to get their annual flu shot. Now, this is an easy one for you. It's a softball. Don't screw it up. The rationale was to, and I quote, restore freedom to our joint force. This has been a requirement since 1950 because it is an effective at preventing the spread of flu among our troops.
Pause it.
It's not some new woke.
Yo, what's going
on? Okay, so the United States Department of Defense is required to properly evaluate and administer vaccines based off of information in regards to the effectiveness of all medicine. That's a word salad. Let me break it down real quick. Basically, if there is new information that shows that a particular vaccine, flu shot, or pill is unnecessary, does nothing, or is actually more harmful than good, then the Department of Defense, at the direction or with permission of the President of the United States, can make a unilateral decision to not make that a requirement, which he's well within his rights to do. And once again, he's politicizing the military.
All right.
Requirement, as you like to lean on for much of your rhetoric. This decision is actively making our military less safe and less prepared. Mr. Hegseth, at this time, are there plans to remove the mandatory requirement of other vaccinations like measles, mumps, and polio?
We made very clear in our announcement that it applies to service members having a choice as it pertains to the flu vaccine.
So the other one more thing I'm gonna add to that is that under oath, these companies that were making vaccines, when they were put under oath, they actually admitted that none of the vaccines, none of them, including the COVID vaccine, none of the 72 vaccines that people are supposed to get have ever been properly tested, clinical trialed, or been tested in a placebo effect analysis. Basically, they were just handing this stuff out and saying it's good to go because they had immunity. And now Congress is in a hearing discussing whether or not they should strip vaccine companies of their immunity for making vaccination jabs. So, yeah, that's why the Department of War, Pete Hegseth, is like, nah, this is no longer a requirement for them to have this because it's quite literally an unproven medicine that companies have just been basically doing whatever with.
And yo, Sid, what's going on, man?
What's up, guys?
It's all good. So what you thinking so far? Or you just came in?
Thinking about this hearing, or?
Yeah, well, what was your thoughts on the hearing?
Dude, it's just like any Trump hearing. I mean, General Kane is conducting himself fine, but just like every Trump cabinet official, they feel like it's their time to just argue with the representatives instead of answer questions. They're performing to an audience of one, which is Donald Trump. They want to be seen as like fighting back against the Democrats, when you see it even in people like gaming getting upset at the one guy's question, which was just like, how much do you plan on spending on this war? Fine question to ask. Why would you get upset about that question? But there's Pete Hegseth getting all upset, getting all obstinate about it, and gaming backing him up. I don't understand it.
Not getting upset is called being a hypocrite. Because when the American people were like, we don't want to get involved in the Ukraine war because it doesn't affect us, Congress was still...
That's not true. You're totally wrong. The support for aid to Ukraine when the war first started and we were sending aid was over 50%. It was very high.
No, it wasn't.
way higher than the war is. We can go back and look it up. We can look up right when the war started how many Americans supported sending aid to Ukraine.
No.
Which was passed by our Congress, which was passed by our
Did he cut out again?
Yeah. Honestly, I can kind of believe what he's saying on that one, just because remember, this is a war of proxy. I mean, I'm pretty sure Americans would have been so happy we were putting like Air Force, sending Air Force, like sending the Air Force to Russia, or putting a naval blockade around Russia. Like, I'm pretty sure then there would have been disapproval of the war. But since we're talking about a proxy one, I can see.
Oh yeah, and let's say if Biden started the war on his own, without approval of Congress, anything like that, and everyone was against it, that would be more 1-to-1. But instead, we're talking about congressionally approved aid that the majority of Americans supported at one point, and I think still even do.
No, because
and you're comparing that to a war. You're comparing that to a war started single-handedly by the president of the United States. Those are two different things. I mean, Biden didn't start the war in Russia.
So check this out. Here's the thing. The War Powers Act allows the president to make swift decisions like this, whether we agree with it or not. He's coming up on his 60 to 90 day mark. So that's why he's in a rush to get this done, which he does need to. Ultimately, this shouldn't affect us. This has always been my stance, and I'm not gonna argue this point further. This war shouldn't be affecting us because we have everything we need here. And if anybody should be getting mad at anyone, it should be the fact that Congress is allowing these corporations to mess with the pricing of basic goods and materials to make it seem like this war is affecting us when we have more than enough LNG, more than enough oil, more than enough potash, more than enough freshwater reserves. We're the breadbasket of the world and amongst a few other things. Anything that we need can be found in North and South America. So realistically, this war shouldn't be affecting us.
But all right, guys.
Yeah, except the entire way our economy is set up is not to support just getting everything from this country. I mean, there's no country on earth that is not part of the global economy at this point, maybe other than North Korea, and they even have their black markets. So there's no way that we can live the lifestyles we want to live and get everything here without making major sacrifices and restructuring the economy entirely.
All right, but hold on, to lean into both y'all points here. So, yeah, I mean, Sid was right in 2022, but Gaming, you would be right in, well, today. Yeah, as time went on, as you've seen, yes, there was a lot of support for Ukraine war in the beginning. Should Ukraine continue to fight until the war wins? Yeah, it was at like 73%. Now today it's at 24%, when the complete inverse was true. Like back in the day.
Well, the question is also, what was the support for sending them aid?
No, be real with you. If we're over here saying they should continue fighting this war, that means we're also saying they keep on rolling out the aid.
Yeah, I think there's actual polls where they asked that, though.
That's a fair statement, though. I'm not gonna lie. That's a fair statement, and I really wish we would stop giving out both, to be quite honest.
Well, do you understand there's a huge difference between that and this war, then? If the majority of the American citizens supported sending them aid at the beginning of Russia-Ukraine, but the majority of Americans right now don't support this war at all?
No, I never said that there wasn't an acute difference. I was calling out the congressman's hypocrisy, as at first everybody supported them, but now they wanted to keep sending more and more, and everybody was like, no. That's the point I was getting at.
I mean, how's that hypocritical to ask what this war is going to cost and what it's cost so far? You think that's an inappropriate question?
I think it's hypocritical because it wasn't asked at all under the
Yes,
Biden
it was.
administration. Hey, Seth, can you look that up?
What?
Congress approved the aid themselves. They decided how much was going to be sent.
But they didn't have a whole hearing to determine how much it was going to cost.
They had debate about it. Do you think some random person just decided it and then they just did it?
Yeah, I mean, look who controlled the House.
No, they had debate. And how many Republicans voted for it, by the way?
Well, let's look it up, Seth.
All right, so we're going to look up the support for Ukraine. All right.
Yeah, give him some time.
Hold on here, but in the meantime,
gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Whitman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank our witnesses for joining us today. General Kane, Secretary Hegseth, Mr. Hurst, thank you so much. I want to go to a statement I've been making here for the last several years, and that is we are in the most dangerous national security position that this world has been in since 1939. And we know that it's a critical effort that we undertake to make sure we can deter through the concept of peace through strength. Ms. Secretary, I'd like to start with you. We know that peace through strength has a number of tenets. I think the most important of those is presence. And we know that the United States has the Marine Corps Amphibious Ready Group, Marine Corps Expeditionary Unit, that provides us that presence. We know there are over 2,000 Marines and an aircraft combat unit that are on board those vessels, and they let us do a number of different things. That's the crisis response team that gets to go around the world. Today, as we speak, we have 3 ARGMUs that are deployed around the world. Unfortunately, that's an anomaly. It should be standard. Secretary Hegseth, the president and the combatant commanders need maximum flexibility to respond in multiple places at multiple times to combat and deter these threats. I just want to get your perspective on your goal to make sure we have a persistent 3.0 ARGMU presence, and to look at how are we going to make sure through our shipbuilding plans that we assure that we have the adequate number of amphibs that are being built. I think that number is probably right around 40. And then what are we going to do to make sure, too, that the A-sub-O, the operational availability, is going to be at the level where we can maintain an ARGMU 3.0 with the effort we have to put in to maintain these ships?
So thank you for the question, the substantive question. Ultimately, we support 3.0 ARGMU. That presence right now gives us a lot of flexibility. And this budget supports moving in that direction to ensure that this administration and future administrations.
All right, so yeah, we did budget it out. We budgeted it out, but I mean, if I read down it and what we budgeted for, is kind of going to piss people off. But yes, we did budget out the our support for the Ukrainian war through, from helping out pay the salaries from healthcare workers to giving weapons and other stuff like that. Well,
all right, now what else was below that? Because now I'm curious. You said it was going to make people mad.
Well, the main part was the economic support fund, and portion of the budget is specifically designed for direct financial support to help Ukrainian government pay for non-military essentials, such as salaries of healthcare workers and first responders, which is cool. But I'm just like, all right, now we're going outside of military support in a way.
I mean, those are military support when you think about it, because one of the tactics Russia. Let me talk for 1 second. One of the tactics Russia engages in is deliberately starting fires, and then bombing the fire crews that show up to put them out. So you're just saying that's not a military team, or like a military funds when they're going to firefighters and EMTs?
They can't fund that on their own? I mean,
dude,
they're already footing the bill for everything else. You can't.
We decided to do that. As a democratic country, our representatives, Republican and Democrat, came together, and a majority of them voted to.
You support the war. You're making this argument, but a
majority of them voted to
pretend like some
send
of
us
these money
aid.
didn't get laundered out. Like, bro,
I don't support.
Definitely got.
Okay, yeah, that's going to be built into some degree. There's no program that exists where fraud isn't involved. Find me one.
We're sending money to.
And secondly, Seth, I don't agree with you saying that I support the war. I want the war to end. Obviously, I think the best way for the war to end is as close to maximal support for Ukraine as possible, without getting directly involved. That's just a difference in how the war should be prosecuted. It's not I support the war. I want the war to go on.
All right. Well, thank you for clarifying your position on that one. But okay.
Hold up.
But now that we clarified that one, and now that we understand that my man Sid wants full support for this war, which, I mean, hey, man, that's your opinion. I'll let you have it.
Full support for this war. Again, I just clarified. I said full support for Ukraine.
Which is basically
because I feel like that. Well, no, I feel like that will bring the war to an end more quickly. One of the. I feel like the war will not be brought to an end quickly if we just wipe our hands of it and say, okay, Ukraine and Europe.
Okay, I disagree, but I'll let you have that one.
Okay, refute the point. Refute the point.
I think we're spending money on this Ukraine war and helping them throw themselves into the meat grinder against Russia. But if you feel differently, then all right.
helping them throw themselves into the meat grinder. They're going to keep fighting whether we support it with aid or not. We actually save more lives if we help them.
So how?
I don't
So
think
why,
so.
if they're gonna keep fighting whether we support them or not, why is it our job to support a losing battle against Russia?
It's not a losing battle. I mean, did you just disagree with Pete Hegseth, what he just said about Russia's military, or is that a lie that he told?
Most likely.
Okay, Seth,
Yeah,
gaming, is
most
that
I
likely.
don't
your
believe Hegseth when
your
he's
understanding is that
talking about
Pete
who's
Hegseth is
military
lying when he
capability.
says that Russia's military capabilities are nowhere close to ours?
Nowhere
Yeah, I
close to
don't
ours.
believe
Yeah, I
that.
don't believe that, bro. He was all
Yeah.
about Iran's military capability. Let's be real here. Like, let's just be real.
Notice you haven't really heard me say anything about how incapable the IRGC is. That's not what I've ever said. But to sit
Yeah, I'm
up
sure
here
you
and
were up
go
here
to the
after the Venezuela thing, saying, look at their air defense systems. They didn't even work. They were shut down instantly."
yeah, because they were a product of China.
Product of Russia and China.
Yeah, and they actually didn't work. There was even detailed videos coming out about that. So yeah, that was a little
Also,
hilarious.
what are we in the 4th year of this war? Shouldn't Russia? Is it going to take us 4 years to complete what's going on with Iran, or?
Well, I'm be real with you,
Nah,
dog. I
not
mean,
really
Russia's
sure.
kind of slow grinding these guys out. They're still taking
Thank
lands.
you.
I mean, everybody sees this war as losing for
Dude,
Russia.
the
Well,
front lines
not
have
Russia,
been
but Ukraine.
stagnant for almost 2 years.
I
Don't
get
confuse the
that, but just
slow
because they're
grind.
slow grinding it, don't mean they're not winning.
I'm getting ready to say, don't confuse
Dude,
the slow grind for
Russia has a significant amount of problems. I mean, we're making their lives a lot easier with some of the stuff we've been doing lately, but they have a lot of issues. That's not just, oh, they're winning and they can have their maximalist desires fulfilled, which is all of Ukraine, by the way, which is untenable for the Ukrainians. They'll fight till the last man. Anybody would. You guys would if you were in the same position in your country.
True. No, I'll give you that. I'll always give you that argument. But wait, hold on. Is he trying to take all of Ukraine? I thought he just wanted to take that that one that
Oh,
defeated him.
read Vladimir Putin's essay that he put out right after the invasion. Watch his interviews with Tucker Carlson.
yeah,
Just
set.
hear
I
him talk.
mean,
He talks
if
about
you
how he wants all of Ukraine. He talks about how it's all little Russia and it's
No,
part of the
that's
Russian
okay. No,
Empire.
okay, I heard that. I heard that. But when it was coming
no,
down to peace talks and they were talking about it, it didn't seem like he wanted all of Ukraine then. If he was
no,
able to
that
get
was a
the
front that he
situation.
put on.
Dude,
I will give said
Putin
that.
literally
That was a
says
front.
wherever a Russian boot steps down is Russian territory.
Well, then
That's
they're
his
cooked.
mindset.
Then they're cooked if that's the case. Because
I mean, in response to that, Ukraine sent out videos of Russian soldiers getting blown up by mines. But
damn.
Golly, somebody breaking into his house.
Nah, man. Hey, man. Sid got one of them big dogs. But all right.
Right, I heard some bass in that voice.
Oh, hold on. Armchair conservative. What's going on, man? We didn't hear anything from you. I just brought you up.
Hey, what's going on? I'm in the middle of my morning over here in Hawaii. I just got a couple things that I want to chime in on.
All right, go ahead.
So Obama gave Ukraine blankets. Trump 1 gave him Javelin missiles. Biden gave Ukraine 40% of our oil reserves. And then when oil prices skyrocketed, he said he was going to wait to buy it at a lower price, which I thought was dumb.
no, dude, he didn't give Ukraine 40% of our oil reserves. He released strategic reserves to offset the shortage in the supply chain. He didn't give that to Ukraine.
No,
and then he did buy it back at a lower price. And then he did buy back at a lower price. So we can look this up too.
Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro. So here's the thing with one, Ukraine. A buddy of mine who works in government, he basically said that half of the shit that we send over to them, half of the stuff that we send over to them, they turn around and sell it on the black market. And so these guys, they're getting billions of dollars. They are buying $100,000 cars. What's the CIA guy who said that he sat in a room and watched a bunch of officials each
John
take $1
Kiriakou.
million? Yeah, take $1 million each. and head out to Dubai. That's real. Like those guys just don't care. But we have to beat. We have to take out Iran, and the whole point, I think, of actually getting into this Iran conflict, we used Netanyahu I think that it was probably something to do with Bibi saying that he was going to nuke him, and the big open secret that everybody knows but doesn't admit is that Israel has a nuke, or at least one.
90.
But yeah, but we need to win this with Iran because China is getting ready to move on Taiwan. Now, I know of a guy who met with some Chinese officials, and with all of the expansion that China is making with building their fake islands, and I know this for a fact, every major country has fake islands built all over the world in the oceans. It's not a big thing, but what that does is your international water starts 200 miles out from your shoreline, and if you keep building islands that you call your territory outwards, that 200 miles keeps extending, therefore choking off any international water between straits. So that's essentially what China's been doing. Now, that was a long-term strategy for China. That was something that they were talking about going to take years. But when they saw how absolutely lackadaisical, aloof, abysmal, inept Obama was, they all kind of looked at each other and shrugged and went, well, I guess we can do it. And so that's what they started doing. And this is where we're at now. Now, China has just built two major hospitals right across right across from Taiwan. Right, they're building military installations right across from Taiwan, so they are preparing for a major conflict to
A
take
lot of
Taiwan.
people understand that Taiwan is in play for China in the coming years. Explain how having a war with Iran helps us with that.
So check this
Because
out.
China gets their oil from Iran.
Mm-hmm.
China gets their oil
How
from
much?
Iran,
What percentage?
they get it
It's
from
40%.
Venezuela, and they get it from Venezuela, and they get it from Iran. And the dragging on of the Ukraine war is to inevitably, one, to hide all of the mistakes that the previous administrations in the war made. We have gain of function research going on. We have one or two gain of function labs in Ukraine. I mean, there's like
Sid,
Ukraine
don't
is a
tell me.
fence.
Hold up. Sid, don't tell me you're going to deny that, because Dr. Fauci even admitted under
Dude,
oath that
I'm
he
not
was doing
denying it.
this.
I just don't
Oh,
think
I was about to say.
I don't think it's a big conspiracy that they're making bioweapons.
I don't
That's
see
never
that.
been borne out.
My personal pushback on this is that honestly, I feel like we're sacrificing. Well, like I said, we're pretty much sacrificing the ability to protect Taiwan for war with Iran, because all
Also,
Iran
why would
is
you be for
losing is
protecting
going to hurt
Taiwan
our
if you're not
ability.
even supportive of helping Ukraine? Like, why would you support the same thing with
because
Taiwan?
because 95% of the world's semiconductors are made in Taiwan at Taiwan Semiconductor. They have all of our top secret, super advanced chip secrets. They're all there right in house because they make them all there in Taiwan. That's why
Yeah, and we did stuff like the Chips and Science Act to try to combat that sort of thing. And just earlier, I wonder if gaming agrees with this. He was saying pretty much anything that goes on across the globe shouldn't really affect us because we can get everything we need right here in America, right? Is that right, gaming?
we have the ability to, one, take care of ourselves, but part of that is we need to make sure that our enemies don't get to be too big and challenge us. That's the whole point.
Unless it's
All right.
Russia, then we should
Wait,
let them.
let me answer his
So
question, but let me answer his question thoroughly. Yes,
sure.
we do have more than enough materials to support ourselves. Don't forget the key item needed in all electronics is quartz, and the United States has the largest quartz reserve on lockdown. It's somewhere in the Midwest or Southeast. Second, we have all the lead, the copper, the zinc, the zircon. The reason why we don't actually tap into these resources is because the EPA is like, you can't build here, but the environment, but my environment. What's that say? But my sovereignty. That's how the EPA is about the freaking environment. So we have everything we need here. And in a sustained wartime effort, what most people forget is that we can just eradicate the EPA and go and tap into these reserves that have pretty much rebuilt themselves since World War II. We, genuinely speaking, don't need to rely on other countries. We do it to facilitate the propping up of a global economy that really doesn't need the United States.
Well, they need us in the amount that we are a consumer-based economy.
Right, right.
Okay, so that being said, gaming and armchair conservative, you guys would then not support military aid to Taiwan if China did invade, or I'm confused here.
Well, the whole point of us taking out Iran is because we need to make sure that Iran is not providing oil to China. That's the whole point.
Well, we haven't
because
taken
we need
them
to
out.
Well, I understand that, and you know what? The Tet Offensive would have been successful, and as Thomas Sowell says, in the middle of every political disaster is a Harvard degree. So there's a lot of politics, and there's a lot of we have a very maternalistic society, and especially in Congress these days.
I think in this case
mainly
it's a
on the
Yale
left.
degree.
Either way, it is, Obama and all of his. I think we're going to let the experts take it, bro. Like I know firsthand how bad experts have ruined shit because everything they live in a world of theory, and then they get placed in positions of power, and they have no idea what they're doing. All they're doing is just whatever theory that they have and testing it out. And when it fails, they point to somebody else. It would have
Wasn't the
worked if we
big
had more money.
benefit of Trump and his administration supposed to be that none of that sort of establishment, expert class deferring to that none of that was supposed to happen under Trump?
Yeah, what you have under Trump is people that have actually done the job and done the work, and versus under Obama and typically Democrats,
and they're still failing.
Professors. It's it's a different metric. I'm not gonna there's a lot of wins, and Trump has pursued his policies more than any other president in history.
It sounds like you grade him on a curve a little bit. I mean, Biden got more legislation passed by far right at this time in his presidency than Trump has.
Yeah,
through executive actions, and it was all disastrous.
No. I'm talking about legislation. Trump's the guy doing executive orders. We actually had legislation pass Congress, big legislation like the infrastructure bill.
That was
right. The infrastructure. Bro, let me tell you what the infrastructure and inflation.
Hey, I'm not here to argue the merits of the bill. I'm saying it got passed, and that shows that Biden, was more legislatively competent than Trump has been. What has Trump done so far? He just got the big beautiful bill.
Right, and here's an open dirty secret. Whatever the name of the title of the bill, it does the exact opposite. Right.
So it's the big ugly bill or small ugly bill.
The Inflation Reduction Act was exclusively for paying for green and sustainable energy, and
it was a big investment into climate.
Right, but how does that make anything more affordable? It's like
I don't know. Look at the oil markets right now. If we could move away from oil, wouldn't that be like a really beneficial thing for everybody?
So you know what's hilarious about the whole moving away from oil to clean energy is it still takes oil to produce.
I understand. I understand it's not perfect, but investing into it is to try to make it more efficient.
Right, but here's the secret, bro. I work in this industry, so all of the renewable energy One, it's very expensive and it takes a lot to maintain. Those are all owned by private companies. Those private companies have contracts that they will sell each kilowatt hour to the electric company, the distribution company, for whatever the same price everybody else is paying. So it doesn't matter if it's oil, it doesn't matter if it's wind, solar, geothermal, does not matter. Everybody gets paid the same. And so if you're, if like here in Hawaii, we have so much solar, so much wind, but yet we pay 40 cents a kilowatt hour out here. I don't have any air conditioning in my house except for a one upstairs in the bedroom when I sleep that I turn on only at night. I pay $475 a month for electricity. Right? So the thing is that it has nothing to do with the
I'm
actual
sorry,
costs
armchair.
of electricity. Bro,
I'm
it's
sorry,
fine.
armchair.
Yeah, it's, but it
400?
has, yeah, I mean, it gets as high as 600. It just depends. But,
Armchair, I'm not here to argue with you about the merits
No.
necessarily of the
No,
legislation.
but
That's fine. We could have a conversation on that at a different time. But you said that Trump was the most effective president in modern history, basically. And I said, well, Biden had more legislative accomplishments in one term than Trump has had in two. And so that was the nature of the argument there, because we were talking about how all these experts have led us astray for so many years, and that was the argument for why we needed someone like Trump and his administration. Yeah, he's failing. They're failing.
Well, he's not
They're
failing.
making huge blunders.
All right, guys. Well,
yeah.
All right, guys. Hold on. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on
Yeah.
with the conversation and get on to something else.
I got to get going. I just wanted to jump in and say that even though renewable energies sounds free and they sell it as free, the payoff is two forevers. It needs to be government subsidized in order for the owner to see a payoff. But on top of that, the big energy companies that build out all the big solar farms and stuff, they're selling energy to the distribution company, like whoever it is. Here we have Hawaiian Electric. Hawaiian Electric doesn't actually make energy. It all just gets shipped in, and then they convert it and sell it. So it's all wholesaled to them. So those energy farms wholesale energy to the distribution company, and then so it doesn't matter if it's free, if it's completely paid off. The price is the price because it's a long-term contract. So, anyways, take it easy, guys. You guys are doing great, and we'll check you guys later.
All right, man. Take it easy, man. Appreciate you.
Later.
All right, man. Shout out to the armchair conservative, and shout out to my man Noah. He said we need to move towards a hybrid hydrogen/gas powered thing, such as vehicles. There's a video out there where a dude talks about the benefits of it. Yeah,
You can actually.
don't go too
I'm
far.
gonna add to that real quick. You know, the most efficient actual fuel source we could use is better than electric, better than oil and gas, and is way cheaper to make. You know what it makes? Not hydrocarbons. Like methane and propane. Yeah, you burn those, they actually produce healthy gases for the environment. It's naturally occurring, and if you have a farm, which most of America does, you can actually use the manure to produce it. But they keep killing people that come up with those ideas. So I would never kill myself. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, we got whole acts to pretty much defend big corporations from certain inventions that may put them out of business. It's like we could have free energy, but how do you charge people on free energy? What, a subscription? No, they rather charge you by the rate. So you're going to keep away the free energy that Nikola Tesla was doing, or the 0-point energy that other scientists disappeared for studying. But all right.
People try to. I want to finish up on this point before you move on. People like to say, "Oh, the corporations don't do that" or whatever. Blah blah blah. I'm like, remember what happened with Boeing and those whistleblowers? How they just mysteriously kept turning up dead.
Bro, you know, the scientists. I mean, a lot of them were studying. What was it? They were studying anti-gravity, and they all end up dead.
Yeah, like that one chick. She was like,
Yup.
"Yeah, I'm being stalked outside my apartment," and then all of a sudden they rule it a suicide.
Bruh.
Okay, bud.
But all right, though, let's get to it.
Well, as war with the U.S. and Israel nears the 60-day mark, Iran's tone is becoming increasingly defiant. According to state media, the country's supreme leader is warning there's no place for foreign forces except, quote, the depths of its water. Mojtaba Khamenei hasn't been seen publicly now in 7 weeks.
And a senior military official has reportedly threatened to respond to further U.S. bombing with long and painful strikes. Iran's top judge is also making inflammatory statements too, claiming executions reflect legitimate demands of the people.
Kareem Sajapur is a CNN Global Affairs analyst.
I mean, if you didn't get the report, I put out what they had like 21 executions so far and like 4,000 people detained. I was like, damn, well, you about to execute all of them? Well, we don't know. But so far, we know that 21 people have gotten executed.
Senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace and the man I turn to for all things.
Gas here is $4.20.
Great to
It is, bro. But bros, don't remind
Dude,
me.
I just got gas. I just stopped and got a little bit of gas. It's now $4.50. What the fuck? 30 fucking cents?
Bro, did you see the numbers on the oil futures? I was like, oh yeah, we're cooked. Last night it was like at 121. I was like, oh yeah, we're cooked. Like if this is the normal, guys, we're cooked. It's at almost at 120. This is when I say people are saying, oh, just give it a little bit more time. I'm sorry, but I don't think the American people got that much time. We're about to hit $5 gas. And once we hit $5 gas, the whole but Biden argument gone. We lose that argument. I hope y'all know this. And then City gets to sit here and dance around it. Well, be real. Well, dance around our no, I'm not gonna say what I want to say because I don't think Sid's that much of a dick. But let's just say he gets a big "I told you so" moment. And I'm be real with you, Sid. Not to be a dick, but I don't want that for you.
Here's the thing. I think all of this is part of the whole "you will own nothing and be happy" agenda. Because it's too deliberate. Like every country is struggling and they don't have to. And most of it,
all because of the conflict. I mean, all because of this conflict. That's the problem.
Nah, it's like when you look into. I encourage you whenever you finish up the live, look into every country's like natural resources, like their natural resource portfolio, and then look into what they actually trade. Majority of countries don't even trade stuff that they have as a natural resource because that would cut all this oil stuff out.
That's true.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not trying to be, unalived in a park.
You good?
To have you on the program as well. So once again, we hear from the Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei claiming that the grip on the strait will
and if you don't know why Sid's gas like 450, he's on the west side.
Bring economic progress. When we look at the reality, though, in Iran right now, inflation is at 70%. The rial hit a record low. Is his threshold for pain at this point higher than his father's, or is this a scenario where they're really starting to feel the squeeze? How are you interpreting this?
It's a great question, Bianna. And what's significant is that we haven't seen Mojtaba Khamenei since he was named Supreme Leader, and we haven't even heard his voice. So that unto itself is pretty significant, that ostensibly the most powerful man in Iran hasn't been seen or heard from. And his messages publicly are always bellicose, always projecting strength. But in reality, when you speak to people in Tehran, this is a society and an economy which even before this war had been decimated. We saw last January massive national protests because of the country's increasing economic bankruptcy. And obviously this war has only amplified those economic vulnerabilities. So there is a huge gap here between Iran's public statements projecting strength and confidence and the realities of an economy which is really floundering.
As we know, President Trump is set to receive a briefing from U.S. Central Command, just really on the military options in terms of dealing with Iran. Kareem, can you hear me? Because I saw you touch your earpiece there. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, good. So just in terms of what those options, A, are, and B, what is actually going to get Iran back to the negotiation table in a way that allows the US to have the most leverage? What makes sense in terms of President Trump's options at this point? Because obviously this is an existential threat for Iran, and that means that they are going to be willing to hold on for as long as it takes.
So Zain, the way I think about this, the metaphor I think about is essentially two adversaries with their hands on one another's throats. Iran is trying to choke the global economy. It's obviously, its entire strategy is to spike the price of oil. So American citizens will put pressure on President Trump to end this war. And in retaliation, President Trump has his hands on Iran's throat, trying to choke the Iranian economy and trying to force this regime to capitulate. And the process it's obviously a test of wills. It's a test of resolve.
No.
And that process on its own could take many more weeks, if not months. And so I think President Trump is trying to expedite that process, trying to get Iran to the negotiating table by threatening more military action. Doesn't seem, however, that there are going to be any silver bullets which quickly end this war. My view is that we're probably looking at months ahead of this test of resolve. And even when and if we get back to the negotiating table, we're probably looking at months of negotiations based on what we know of 47-year history of Iran's negotiating posture.
And as we've heard from the Secretary of State, the president himself, Iran, they're very capable, very good negotiators, given all of their years of experience. There's reports of perhaps a new proposal that Iran will be presenting as soon as Friday. But Kareem, going back to your earlier point that we have yet to see or hear from Mojtaba Khamenei at this point, so many weeks later, does that tell you, are you hearing from sources, because there are rumors that he may not even be alive or be in a position?
Nah, he's alive. According to the Russian ambassador and sources inside of Iran, the guy's alive, but he's effed up, though. He's definitely effed up.
Yo, Seth.
Yeah, what's up?
I lost service when you were talking about how you don't want me to do the I told you so thing.
Yeah.
It's already too late for that, for one.
Yeah.
But
I'm weak.
Two?
He said it's too late.
Two, I don't like, this affects me too. I don't like that the economy's fucked up.
Well, shoot, I appreciate you for saying that at least.
So he's realistic. I like that. I can appreciate that. It's like, yeah, I told you so, but I really hate that I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I'd much rather be wrong on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, trust me, dog. When I was calling it out from the beginning, too, I was hoping that I was wrong. Shoot, I was hoping that I was going to be a panicking again. But apparently, as we all see, we're 2 months in, $25 billion in, and up. And what gas prices are up over pretty much $4.
So,
and people
real
just
quick,
still try to sell this to us as if this is the best thing America could be doing right now.
So, real quick. So, like, let's say all of us were in the driver's seat. How would y'all, in the ward where we get certain objectives met while also keeping gas down?
You're going to hate my answer. Could I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
So what I would do is I would take a bad deal. That's where I think we're at right now. I think we're in between a bad deal and escalation. And I think a bad deal is better than escalation. So the deal would probably be something that resembles the JCPOA, maybe even worse than the JCPOA. But take that, try to open the strait as quickly as possible and move on and try to say it was a win somehow. But that's, I think, the only option that is really on the table. I don't see how we can come out of this and have the most maximalist deal that Trump wants.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I would just, me personally, I'd just focus on the nuclear enrichment, because that's the only thing I could possibly sell to the American people that's a threat to us. This whole thing about their ballistic missiles and proxies, I would just leave that alone. I'm just here for your nuclear enrichment. I'll release the naval blockade. You open up the strait. We'll return back to that deal, and we'll work out another JCPOA. And once that's over with, I'm done. I'm not worried about your ballistic missiles. I'm not worried about your proxies, because those are all to a threat to, well, Israel, not us.
Yeah, and I'd also switch my policy on energy from what Trump's policy is. He wants to focus on fossil fuels. I would focus on everything, every form of energy, like including nuclear facilities, which Trump is okay on. But
I'm okay with focusing on, and I would be okay with that, but we also have to keep these data centers in check too, because they're also chewing up a lot of the energy. And so I think I'm a little sadistic on this point, but I'm kind of glad we're being starved for energy because data centers aren't popping up as fast as they could be.
I mean, here's a
and,
problem
and
with data
even with
centers.
some of my proposals for alternative energy and stuff, that would be like years in the future before those are up and running. So
Right.
we're kind of screwed on a lot of fronts here, and this is going to go beyond Trump, which a lot of Democrats and liberals need to take serious because people weren't feeling good under Biden's economy either. Yeah, liberals and Democrats were all going around telling everybody to everything looked great. You know, look at the stock market. And Trump's doing that too. So
yeah,
but there's structural problems that need to be addressed. So
yeah, and
But
getting
the
into these
Dow,
wars ain't helping. And that's
yeah,
what I'm
and getting
saying.
us into war is one of the worst things that could happen. Yeah.
hey, you guys, be quiet. The Dow is doing good.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
That's the meme of 2026, man.
Man,
Yeah. Now she's fired. And nobody talks about her.
as they should, bro. Honestly, though, what was it? Wasn't she supposed to get like brought in for her handling of the Epstein files, and now that we can't bring her in no more because she's no longer the AG?
Well,
Yeah.
if she's subpoenaed by Congress, they can bring her in. She's just actively disobeying
Refusing it.
Congress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she should go to jail for that because
Mm-hmm.
you completely messed that up and then you didn't even give a real answer.
Yep.
Even the way she messed up the Comey case, I was just like, "Oh yeah, you're done." Like, you're
But Todd Blanche is doing the same thing. He's not doing any better than her.
oh, bro, that when he replaced what was it, Pam Bondi with Todd Blanche, I was like, we're not getting any better. This was the guy that gave Ghislaine Maxwell a sweetheart interview and then didn't come back to do the hardball.
He's a veteran of the Southern District of New York, which is like thought of as this liberal bastion of law. They call it the Sovereign District of New York as a joke. So, and that's where he's from. That's where he practiced before. That's why Alex Jones calls him a Democrat lawyer.
Yeah,
that's true. But all right, let's get right back into it.
Of making decisions, and if he's not the one making decisions, is it the IRGC head Ahmed Vahidi who is in charge right now?
So, Biana, as an institution, the institution that is ruling Iran now is the Revolutionary Guards. When this regime began in 1979, it was the clergy, the clerics who were ruling Iran. And over the last 2 decades, the country has transformed from a clerical dictatorship to a military dictatorship. Now, when Mojtaba's father, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was ruling, he was still at the top of that power pyramid. It was a cleric ruling Iran, but all of his most important appointees were Revolutionary Guard commanders. Now, what is frankly not clear from afar is to what extent is Mojtaba actively involved in major decisions. We don't really know the state of his health. There's a lot of mixed rumors about that. But yes, indeed, we know that Ahmed Vahidi, Revolutionary Guard commander, is an important player. Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, current Speaker of Parliament. When you look at, let's say, the top 10 or 15 men ruling Iran, probably 2/3, 3/4 of them are men who have military backgrounds, not clerics. And one additional thing I'd like to say here, Biana, is that when people talk about the Iranian regime being great negotiators, my response to that is that it's easy to be a tough negotiator when you don't care about the well-being of your people. If you're willing to subject your people to enormous hardship rather than make any compromise, well, you could say that's being a tough negotiator, but you're not really advancing the interests or well-being of your nation.
I do want to read you.
I mean, that could be said on both sides, but yeah, okay. All right, let's see here. Yeah, national average on gas price today is $4.30. Let's see. Yesterday it was 420. Damn, it went up 7 cents. And then before the war, yeah, it was at that 298. Man. Okay, you know what? Let's get on to the next story. Let's get on to the next one. Exposing Trump's delusional bet on Iran's oil collapse. And I said it was delusional because I was like, bro, Iran got many other routes other than the Strait of Hormuz to get to their biggest buyers of their oil, which is Russia and China. China through railway and Russia through the Caspian Sea. I mean, if you don't know what the Caspian Sea is, it's this big ass body of water north of Iran.
Friend of the show, Rory Johnson. He is the founder and editor of Commodity Context on Substack, which we'll have a link down in the description. Thank you so much for joining us, Rory. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. So, Rory, big news yesterday. Let's put it up here on the screen from the Financial Times. Oil topped some $120 as Trump signaled an extended Hormuz standoff. As I understand it, that is down more this morning, more as a result of contracts expiring. But these two things still put oil at a very, very high price relative to where they were, obviously, before the war started, but even where the ceasefire is. What are we seeing right now in the oil markets, and what can the world begin to expect?
Yeah, so before that sell-off you mentioned this morning, and again, on the last day of Brent's contract expiry, so these are the monthly contracts that roll off at the end of every month, you get a lot of volatility in the last day of the contract, and today's that day. So we're getting a lot of that volatility to the downside because we got a lot of it to the upside yesterday. Overnight, we saw Brent prompt futures contracts rise to above $125 a barrel. And I think even more importantly, that was for June. Even more importantly, July rose above 113. And I think it's actually that July contract that's about to become the front of the curve and is even more important. I think this, what's going on? The same thing that's been going on for 2 months. The Strait of Hormuz remains closed. We are now down more than 600 million barrels of unproduced oil to date. At this stage, guaranteeing at least a 1 billion barrel hit to global supply for the year. And I think the price is just finally beginning to reflect that. I think, as you noted there, in addition to this, there have been comments and reporting on the White House's thinking that maybe just another 2 months of blockade on Iran would weaken their position and make them more amenable to compromise. But, sure, it might make Iran more compliant. It's going to make the rest of the world far more desperate as well.
Can we put C3 up on the screen? This was your analysis from yesterday that I want you to explain to us. You said, there she goes. U.S. commercial petroleum inventories fell by a headline 17 million barrels, plus another 7.1 million barrels of SPR crude draws, 13 of what is that? MMBBL? What is that?
Million barrels.
Okay, million barrels, total crude draw. Anyway, explain to us why this was significant to you, what you're seeing in these numbers.
Yeah, so one of the things that's been weird about the crisis so far, and I think it has stunted the oil market's ability or kind of willingness to bid these prices higher, is that U.S. inventories, which are the most visible inventories in the oil market, released every week by the Energy Information Administration from the Department of Energy, those actually showed inventories pretty high, not just for all products, but for crude specifically. And what we had been anticipating, so this goes back to Trump's new fascination with these tanker maps of all of these tankers steaming towards the U.S. Gulf Coast to pick up crude for a Hormuz-starved market. Eventually, those tankers were going to spike imports, which they're doing, and it's going to start drawing down domestic U.S. inventories. And I think that is the signal the market needs to say, oh, wow, this scarcity is here. So in total, you had a 23 or 24 million barrel draw in total petroleum stocks. And that's you normally get a build of, let's say, plus or minus 6 million. That's kind of a normal range. So this is much, much larger. And I think indicates that what we expected to be coming is starting, which is basically the rest of the world sending tankers in order to try and buy oil from North America, because the rest of the world is currently willing to pay more for oil than is North America. And this is going to be the result, is our inventories are going to draw down here until we bid our prices up high enough to keep those barrels at home.
Okay, so then let's run through that scenario. So what does that look like? So one of the reasons, again, as a layman, I'm looking at it is when we draw the inventory low, could we run out of oil, or is it going to be that the price goes so high that all of us are paying $650 a gallon for gas? Let's take the White House at its word currently. Who knows what it is? 2 more months. This will continue. All of these, isn't the journey time? It's like a month or so already in terms of the tanker. So what does that start to look like in terms of the price physically for everybody, with, as you have very well educated us, it's about the refined products for the things that we actually use?
Yeah, so that's exactly right. So I don't think the United States is going to run out of oil. And again, people are like, "Oh, Rory, well, where's zero on that chart that you showed?" Zero is not really a relevant number because if we got to zero, we and the rest of the oil market is already basically dead. So we basically need to stop inventories from drawing down too much because you have operational minimums. The whole idea of the oil market is it's this giant flowing chemistry set. And the flowing aspect is important. It needs to keep flowing every day at roughly the same rate. These stocks are there to basically even out the natural imbalances between production and consumption. When you don't have them, you get into much tighter, spikier markets, which, the deeper we go, is basically a lack of liquidity in kind of the pricing for those barrels. So my expectation is that we're going to keep drawing down North American barrels until prices rise. But given that North America is wealthy and has a relatively low price sensitivity for our demand for petroleum products, I have no doubt that North Americans will be able to pay the prices that will keep those barrels there. But I think this is kind of a narrative check. The president had become obsessed with this idea that U.S. energy dominance, the United States was going to be a net beneficiary of Hormuz being closed and the spike in energy prices. And he only saw it through the lens of export increases, which again, we know that Trump is obsessed with terms of trade. So that is.
Hold on. That's what it is.
They didn't know it. They were getting ready to hang the women. They were going to hang 8 beautiful women that were, it just caught the imagination of a lot of people. People were talking about it. It was inconceivable. You saw those 8 beautiful people and they were going to be executed.
8 beautiful women.
This was a week ago.
What a loss.
Was
this
so
even
crazy?
real?
No. I was tracking that story down, and nobody was able to verify the identity of those 8 women. They're all AI.
Yeah, I thought it was all AI pictures.
Yeah, that's why I'm mad he's talking about this. Cause I'm just like, oh, bro, okay, whatever. It's like, no, the women weren't real, Trump. They weren't real.
Oh yeah, he was also showing the king a dead wasp yesterday. So
what was it? He said he caught a wasp in his hand.
It was dead, yeah. And he said, "Isn't that interesting?"
I'm weak. Did they frame that as if the wasp just landed in his hand so magically? I don't know, like he's Adam or something.
Yeah, like when that bird landed on Bernie's microphone.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you believe in signs?
I mean, he lost, so.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you. All right, man, let's get back. Because I was about to say, can you imagine Bernie though as like a president? Like, bro.
I don't know. I would have liked to give him a chance, but
man, honestly, me too. Trust me. When I was in college, like, bro, I was like, nah, bring this man up, man. He talking about free college and all this good stuff. That's what I need to hear.
I didn't even vote in 2016 because he lost, and that was the first time I was able to vote.
No, same here.
And these things are being built right now. So you're not going to see the results. I mean, you see construction results. You notice the construction workers are through the roof. But when they open, the numbers are going to be staggering. Do you have a question?
I certainly do. Thank you, Mr. President. You had some good economic news, GDP, 2% growth.
Yeah.
Orders for business equipment surged to the highest level in 6 years. And IRS data shows that the average federal tax return is up by more than 11% when compared to the same time as last year. Do you believe
it is up over 100%?
Do you believe that this is evidence of the big, beautiful tax cuts that you signed into law last year working? And do you think the economy is going to continue to hum as the year progresses?
Yeah, thank you. So the biggest tax cut in history is in the great, big, beautiful bill.
Hey,
And
so
I think,
can you pause it?
I actually see it reported.
You said you're frustrated that he's bringing up this fake story, but it doesn't really even matter at this point if it's fake or real. I mean, his base, for the most part, let's be honest, most Americans aren't going to look into it unless someone else tells them that it was fake, and he can give himself credit for doing it and act like it's a positive story. And he's never been against lying if it benefits him. So,
I mean, yeah, I'll tell you this. You're right. The story does benefit him. It does make it seem like he has a bit of control of what's going on in Iran when he doesn't whatsoever. But that's what he's trying to frame it as if he still has some type of pull in Iran, as they still fear what he says to make the American people feel, more comfortable about the escalation of this war.
Yeah, he can stop executions from happening in the country, but he can't negotiate on the opening the Strait of Hormuz or ending the war. But yeah, no, exactly. even if he was told that, hey, this story is not real, these are AI, I don't think he'd back off of talking about it because, like we just
No,
said, it
bro, he's gonna
benefits
call
him.
you fake news. Like who are you with?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought so. Fake news. Yeah, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, exactly.
Where people are shocked at how much money they're making. They can't believe the refunds that they're making. 5,000, 6,000, 7, 8, 9. One I saw one last night on television, 11,000 more than she thought she was going to get. And it's no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, no tax on social security for our seniors, no tax on social. Nobody can believe it even. And the numbers are far greater than they thought. People that thought they were going to make an extra $500, turns out they're making an extra $5,000. So it's been really great, yeah. And that's going to carry forward. Look, the country's doing really well. And that's
Did anyone
despite
here make an extra $5,000 on their tax return?
Okay, I was about to say, I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I made an extra $5,000.
I think mine was like $380 more than last year,
Yeah.
which, hey,
Yeah,
that's
'cause
fine, but everything else is more expensive. So,
I mean, yeah, we're kind of going through it, getting our taxes midway through a war while prices are going up isn't the best feeling. But we'll be real though, the no tax on overtime, the premiums for that, yeah, that low key pushed me over the top a little bit. So
yeah, that was
right.
nice. And the no tax on tips was nice.
Yep.
Except it's kind of fucked that you can't count super chats as tips.
I know, right? I know, but that call kind of all goes into YouTube, and of course, they tax me on YouTube. But like I said, though, thanks to the fact that I got W-2s and all that good stuff, that kind of covers the tax bill I got to pay for YouTube income.
Right.
War. I'd rather have a military operation. We're really, Iran is dying to make a deal. I can only tell you that. I don't want to get into the, but they cannot be nuclear other than that. But their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone. Every ounce of any form of equipment practically.
I mean, what? Our own intelligence says that Navy's at 60%. They're out there in speedboats with kamikaze drone speedboats in the Strait of Hormuz. That's still a Navy. And
their speedboats were their real Navy. They're those other like larger boats, and even their Air Force was so old. Like it was kind of irrelevant at this point. Was it
yeah,
not?
when they pulled out those speedboats, I was like, why do those look way newer than your big ass vessels? Like, what? But that's literally what they did.
Didn't we gift them a lot of their Navy and Air Force back in the days of the Shah and stuff?
Yep. So it wasn't
cool. We blew up stuff we gave them.
These like little miniature submarines that shoot like what, one missile or whatever. It's like, so they got a lot more than we even know. Like when I was reading up on their military capability and finding out about the kamikaze drone speedboats and miniature submarines, I'm like, okay, guys, yeah, this is the problem because we're not being told this. But the whole world knows about it, but us.
And the speedboats are integral to them being able to even close the Strait of Hormuz. It wasn't their big like warships or anything like that.
Exactly. It was the
It's
speedboats,
right on
the
that.
drones, and like I said, the drone speedboats.
Yep.
Is gone. Their drone factories are about 82% down, and their missile factories are almost 90% down. And many of their missiles have been knocked out.
Bro, we got to see who's giving this man numbers.
We knocked out more than
everything refutes this.
Honestly, no, this is why I think it was. Remember that story where they said JD Vance is mad at Hegseth for like lying to Trump about the Iran war? I think it might be him because, bro, he's saying, oh, well, what was it? Their missiles and drones are pretty much taken out. Well, our own intelligence is going against that. Really saying they still have thousands of missiles and drones. They're ready to use.
It would be so interesting to actually see these conversations because part of me thinks that Vance's team is just like leaking these things out to the press to make him look like he's more against the war than he actually expresses, so that it boosts his 2028 chances, and that if the war does end, he can kind of take credit for helping end it and being against it. But he's never like, I don't know, when Obama did the troop surge in Afghanistan, Biden was close to resigning over that and was having like these fierce discussions about not doing that, telling him not to listen to the generals, stuff like that was coming out. But with Vance, it's just like, oh, I'm a little bit maybe kind of upset about how Hegseth is
It's the
talking to
coalition.
Trump, and maybe I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this as much as everyone else did. And
Now
it's
here's
like,
the scary
come on, dude.
part. Here's the scary part. Like sadly, it's the MAGA coalition that keeps anybody from holding Trump accountable. Because as soon as you go against Trump, you get viciously attacked. And JD Vance, I mean, he don't want to ruin his political stock by getting viciously attacked by MAGA. He's seen what happened to Tucker. He's seen what happened to Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and he's like, damn, that could be me. And as soon as I disagree
But
with
you
these
know, when
men,
the
that's what they
time's
do.
right, he's gonna do it. When the
When the
time's right,
time's
this guy's
right, yeah,
gonna
he got to wait for a
backstab
little bit
Trump.
more disapproval. You're right. Go ahead.
I don't understand how Trump can't see this so clearly with somebody like JD Vance. He's going to backstab him as quick as he can. I mean, this guy is a chameleon who does whatever benefits him most in the political climate. When it benefited him most to be an anti-Trump Republican, a never-Trump Republican, he was that. When it benefited him most to be MAGA, he was that. This guy is like a lizard person.
No, I'll give you that one. That is absolutely right. And to be honest, I would respect JD Vance more if he was a bit more vociferous of it. If just be out there, call a private press briefing or whatever, and just say like, "Yo, I'm not supporting this war. I might resign over this." I mean, and I'm gonna be real with you, his political stock will go up, but it sounds like he's walking the line to stay out of MAGA's, stay out of MAGA's firing range.
It's almost like it's maybe unclear to him that this will be such a disaster for Trump. And Trump has recovered after everyone else has written him off before. Like, pretty much nobody thought after January 6th that he could make a political comeback. But, of course, he did. So,
yeah, man, it's a little different, man. It's a little different. He never said, I will not cause a so-called insurrection or start. I won't cause a mass protest. He never ran on that. He did run on no new wars, but he never ran on no new riots.
yeah, but people really, I don't know if you remember, like, the days after, people that are the biggest Trump bootlickers now, people like Scott Jennings, even Sean Hannity, came out and were being like, this is too much. We're done with Trump. Lindsey Graham, a bunch of senators, a bunch of people in the House. And then it was like, 2 months later, and we saw Kevin McCarthy take that trip down to Mar-a-Lago and start posing in pictures again.
Mm-hmm.
So people were like, at least for 2 months, they were like, oh, well, Trump just screwed himself in politics. But
yeah, he wasn't he wasn't politically safe back then.
No. To be honest, I thought it was over for him after that. I was like, there's no way people will vote for him again after this, but I was totally wrong.
Hey, honestly, I kind of knew they would vote for him still, just because I was hearing all of the stories around January 6th and all that. And once I started reading into the details, I was like, okay, you know what? If people hear this side, then they'll be more forgiving towards Trump, and maybe he has a chance. And that's exactly what happened. Like,
I don't think a lot of the people that voted for him the second time around cared, and the ones that did, it was so far in the past that it wasn't fresh enough in their mind, and they probably just got sick of people saying, well, remember January 6th and stuff?
Nah,
because to some people, it was really a big deal. Like, to me, it was a really big deal. But
yeah, but you got to understand the way it was spun, or maybe the way it was, I guess, retold. That instead of these guys trying to cause an insurrection, it was just a protest that turned into a riot, and people were so-called unfairly pushed into unfairly arrested. But prosecution wasn't doing them too nicely either. And this is what the stories that were coming out. So they turned to violent insurrectionists, to patriots who were being treated wrong by their government. And once you give them that,
the biggest thing to me wasn't even the biggest thing to me wasn't even the riot. That was obviously a big deal. But the bigger thing was Trump's insistence on staying in office, to the point where he did the false electors scheme. You know, he tried everything he could legally, and then once he couldn't do that, he moved to do the false electors scheme and have all the real electors thrown out, and have the House pretty much declare him the winner of the election. And that's a blatant coup attempt. And when that didn't work, he did command what very quickly became a riot onto the Capitol. He said he'd walk down there with them, which he ultimately didn't. But he sat there for hours before ever saying anything. And when he finally did say something, it proved too much, because what did everybody do? They listened to him. So that means he did command the audience. He did command
not
them.
really, because he told them to go home, but Twitter took down the message like during the riot, so people wouldn't even be able to see the president's current word.
when he made that video that said, "I love you all, but it's time to go home," they all left. The riot ended after that.
No, I'm talking about the Twitter post that was happening midway through the riot that it got taken down, not the video. But he did make a post during the riot that this is provable that they took down midway
Which one? The
through the
one that
riot.
said that Mike Pence doesn't have the guts, or Mike Pence doesn't have the courage?
No, it was
it
him
was the
literally
one
telling
where
them.
he was telling people.
I remember that one, but
He was telling
no, it was
people
him
to
literally telling them to
peacefully
go
protest.
home during the protest, and they took down his entire Twitter account. And
Who
a lot
did?
of people
Twitter?
are arguing.
I mean,
saying
that's Twitter.
Yeah, but a lot of people get on Twitter even today, even after the renaming. So
I know,
fact
but
they
that
took him
has
off
nothing to do with
Twitter,
like
that
the whole
kinda, like,
narrative of January 6th.
they kind of
Like,
put him outside the
Kind of
loop.
does.
It's like we want to put blame on everybody except for Trump, which
I mean,
is
there's
crazy.
a literal video breaking down the timeline of events with timestamps from multiple cameras, showing when things were said. And then on top of that, there's the BBC actually had to is in a lawsuit if they haven't already paid Trump out for deliberately cutting up the timestamp on the videos, making it seem like he was the direct cause, even though the video evidence shows that he didn't even know the riots were happening until he made that
No,
whole
there's
go home
evidence
post.
showing that he watched the entire thing playing out on TV in the dining
I
room
would
of the
like,
White House.
I would no, he wasn't even at the White House.
People have testified under oath
And you think
that
they're
were
not gonna
there
lie?
with him, including
You think
his daughter.
You think they're not gonna lie?
His daughter?
I mean, here's the
There's
thing.
text communications that came out between him and Hannity during that time, between Don Jr. and Hannity during that time, where
I'm
Don
not gonna
Jr.
lie.
tells Hannity, Don
You're
Jr.
gonna
tells
have to
Hannity
show
that
me
his
that.
dad is.
I need
Yeah,
to. I
guys.
need to.
But we can
You're
show
gonna have
you
to
everything we're talking about because there's a
Yeah.
whole
The problem
documentary.
with the problem with this is I can't really do that when I'm on my phone
No, that's
talking
fair.
through StreamYard.
That's
But
fair.
if one of you remind me or I remember, which I usually try to remember, I'll send you this stuff.
All right. No, shoot. I guess we might have to act to that January 6th timeline again, and maybe we can go through it and you could debunk some of this stuff. Or you may
Right,
maybe
because
you might
they
be in
had
agreement.
these are camera captured pictures with undoctored evidence. These are White House not White House. These are Capitol
Protester cameras,
Police.
street
Yeah.
cameras.
Oh, I mean, we'd have to do it a different day.
Yeah, we definitely can.
No,
But
about to say,
I've seen almost every January 6th video I can get my hands on from people I disagree with even. But yeah, some people get things wrong, or the details they include to add don't really show what they're trying to show or prove. But the thing is like I heard so many different things about this that people just abandon once you refute it, which gets frustrating. Like people still try to do the Fedsurrection thing, which even Kash Patel came out and said Donald Trump was mischaracterizing it. But Donald Trump can go out and pardon literally every single person that was involved in the January 6th riots that was charged, and simultaneously say it was caused by feds, meaning he pardoned feds that were.
Well, hold on. No feds were arrested. That's the problem. Like they're saying it's a Fedsurrection. What was it? It was reported that there was like 26 FBI agents in there that raped
No.
all that good
Not
stuff.
Not agents.
But my bad. Well,
Informants.
who? Informants?
You understand the difference, right? Like informants are.
Oh, they were just there to get. Okay, I get you. No,
And there were informants that were arrested too.
I heard informants, and I heard like feds with bulletproof vests on that were dressed normally. And people were calling them out.
Yeah. There were some of that.
Talking about.
Kash Patel came out and said that that's standard procedure for events like that. I mean, if even Kash Patel says, yeah, we put feds around in protests, I mean, that's the most uncontroversial news I've ever heard.
Really, we put feds in big protesters, and that's not.
You don't.
Yeah, nah.
A couple opposites.
Yeah. Wait, you think that's not true?
No, I
No,
mean
that's
it's
not
No,
standard.
you said not controversial. Like I'm okay with it being true, okay, but not controversial.
It's not controversial that it happened here. It's not like, oh, it just happened at this one mega protest. No, that's common. Undercover feds are all over the place at big protests. They're all over the place at BLM protests.
Oh man, the way them popped off, I don't think so.
They were. You know how many
Rowdy,
people
the way
got
those
arrested?
popped off.
You know
But
how many
There
people
was
got
some
arrested
undercover
during the
feds there.
BLM riots?
A lot.
Because
Trust me, it was cross country.
While they were here in St. Louis, there was a lot of people that were here in St. Louis saying that there was a whole bunch of feds just embedded for no reason, and they were doing stuff they weren't. But then, yeah, there were some Antifa groups here too. But when the Mike Brown riots happened, yeah, there was a lot of feds here.
I mean, not only do feds embed themselves with big protest groups and stuff, but local police departments do it as well. You'll see plainclothes police at big protests all the time. It's common.
I don't know about that, but all right, man. If there's feds
Nah,
in
he
protesting,
right. He's right.
no,
it's
like I
uncomfortable, but
said,
it's
it's
true.
just the controversial part. And like, I mean, okay, so you're saying there's feds in protests, and we don't really know their mission in there. So what, are they just there for protection, or are they there to agitate? Because we were seeing guys who were pretty masked up agitating. So
That could be the case. We were also seeing like people that are large creators to this day agitating. Nick Fuentes being one of them, Alex Jones being one of them,
a speech,
Owen Schroyer being one of them.
Owen Schroyer, come on now.
They were sitting there fucking. They were yelling. Alex Jones, at least, and Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes was explicitly yelling at people to go into the Capitol.
Really?
I need to see some video.
Yeah, I
on
need
that.
to see that. I don't think that happened, but I did hear that there were feds.
Would you be willing to bet?
The Capitol?
Would you be willing to bet?
Nobody.
Well, the Nick Fuentes
and none of that stuff.
The Capitol?
Yeah.
Well, I don't gamble, but shoot, I am in a bit disbelief, but I'll look it up. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, and we could talk about what's the other Ray Epps. There's been a whole deep dive into Ray Epps, and people still try to use the Ray Epps thing like he was some sort of agent. This guy's just like a regular dude that like was at the Capitol, but for some reason everyone is so convinced that he's an FBI agent. Like that still never came out, but people still bring it up like it's true.
Well, because it was, if you look at the January 6th timeline, if you ever seen that, you would see why people say that. Is because
have you ever watched any of the interviews conducted or that people have done with him leading up to that, or him talking about it, or anything like that?
No, but have you ever seen that documentary?
I don't know what's it called?
January 6th timeline.
I don't know. That sounds too generic. Maybe I have. Do you know who did it?
Actually, I kind of forgot the name. Be real with you on that one. Been a while.
Yeah, but he doesn't try to spin anything. He just lays out the timeline as it is.
Here it is. January 6th. Here it is. So this is it. It was several documentaries in that visuals, investigations provided detailed minute-by-minute timeline of January 6, 2021 Capitol attack. So, okay, so I guess there's key documentaries and visual timelines. January 6, Day of Rage, Capitol riots, Frontline, Trump's American Carnage, January 6, a true time. There it is. This is the one I watched. January 6, a true timeline, presenting chronological order, hour by hour, and sometimes minute by minute account using, as they describe, never before seen footage, as they describe. But this is the one here. And as you see, there's multiple lists. So,
yeah.
And they also use body cam footage too, which fits in the fits in the timeline. So it kind of destroys the whole.
But it looks like this one might be the most current one. The one like this came out in 2024.
All right. Well, either I'll watch it on my own, or we'll have to check it out on stream one day.
All right, no problem.
But look up the Nick Fuentes thing. Nick Fuentes shouting, bullhorn,
shouting, going to the Capitol. Yeah, I was just looking that up. Let's see, going to the Capitol.
Hey, can you go get? I'm sorry.
Let me go ahead and knock that one out real quick for you. All right, hold on here. It says it right here. Let's see. On January 6, 2021, Nick Fuentes was recorded outside the U.S. Capitol using a bullhorn to encourage his followers to move towards and enter the building. While he did not physically enter the Capitol himself, he was a key figure in riling up the crowd on the ground. Let's see. According to documentation from the House January 6th Committee on Just Security, Fuentes made several direct statements encouraging the mob. We are going to storm the Capitol right now. Come with me. Fuentes said this while pointing out at the building with the bullhorn. Keep moving towards the Capitol. It appears we are taking the Capitol back, he told a crowd of cheering supporters as the premiere was breached. Breaking down the barriers and disregarding the police. The Capitol belongs to us. This statement was made shortly after encouraging the crowd to advance. I said that we should not leave this Capitol until Donald Trump is inaugurated president. He urged followers to occupy the grounds indefinitely. So no, he didn't say that. He didn't say that.
Nah, he should have been arrested then. Like, it's
And
really
all that
cut
is
and
on
dry.
video too.
Now, I heard him on the bullhorn, but I did not hear him say all that. I heard his little spiel on, they're trying to steal the election and all this good stuff, but I didn't hear him say all that.
Yeah. And at the speech on the ellipse before Trump spoke, Rudy Giuliani got up there and said, we're going to do trial by combat. But it was always supposed to be a peaceful event, I guess.
That's true. But all right. Let's get back into our guy, Trump.
And it's pretty amazing what's happened. They want to make a deal. But despite the fact that we are in what some people would call a war, we just hit a new high today on the stock market. We have S&P is through the roof. They're through the roof. And, when we hit 50,000 on the Dow and 7,000 on the S&P, I said to myself, we got to do something about Iran. They want to have a nuclear weapon. You can't let them have a nuclear weapon. And
Peace out, guys. I'm out of here. Good one.
Because they said
All right.
50,000. That 50,000 wouldn't be obtainable in my 4 years or anybody's 4 years. And we hit 50,000 in my first year, the end of my first year. We hit 7,000 on the S&P. They said that would be even less attainable. And we hit that at the end of the first year, before the year was up. And then I said to Kevin, sorry about this, Kevin, but we have to put out a fire. And the fire is taking place in the lovely country of Iran. And they want to have a nuclear weapon. And if we didn't use this beautiful, see that plane right there, that beautiful B-2 bomber, it looks small there, but it's actually quite, it doesn't look very powerful there, but it's quite large, actually. We ordered 25 more of them, the updated version, all built in America, which is very nice, right? But if we didn't have that B-2 bomber, if we didn't go in and do what we did, we obliterated.
All right, guys. Actually, I do got to head on out. Shoot, I'll probably go ahead and cover this probably tomorrow. Yo, what's going on, man?
There is something I want to check out, and I'm only going to do this for 3 or 4 creators, but I'm gonna send you a link or whatever, so you could show it online.
Mm-hmm.
Can't nobody.
You. All righty. Oh, well, man, the connection is crazy today, man. Now gaming going through it.
I'll send.
All right. Well, all right, guys. We'll go ahead and head out. Yeah, you cut it. You was cutting out.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm gonna send you this message or whatever. I don't know where to find you. I'm gonna send so you can show the people on Discord. Just kind of I found you.
Gotcha.
Just kind of what I'm working on.
All right.
You should have it right now, actually.
And all right, now so I guess today was more of like a debate day. We had more conversation than actually reacting to the videos or actually doing news coverage. So I'll try to give you guys more news coverage next time. But make sure you guys double tap that screen and like the video and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. We'll be releasing clips and shorts later on today. What's up?
Hold up. Yeah, I just sent it to you on Discord. It's for you to throw it up on your live, so everybody could see what I got going on. Plus, there's a surprise in it for you.
All right, I got you, big dog. Let me go ahead and knock that out for you real quick. Let's see here. You said on Discord, what you put in the general?
No, private. directly to you.
All right, perfect. All right, then. Gotcha. Oh, shoot. What? Track every bit? Oh, damn.
This is what I've been working on. That's why I've been AFK. Says track every bill, vote, and law. This is my website, Civic Pulse. These are actually live bills that are in the House right now, by the way. So if you scroll down, I'll walk you through it a little bit. So if you scroll down, these are the actual bills. That little box with the lit up squares, yeah, that's market analysis. That's how the market reacts to the bills. I got a section for federal bills that are in the Senate most of the time, urgent. Some of it's broken because I'm still like tinkering with it. State bills, I have a state bill section on the sidebar. So if you navigate to the sidebar, these are all the bills, where they're at, floor vote signed, what state they belong to, vote count.
Nice.
You can also search by state. For example, where are you at? Ohio? Yeah, you got a bill, Ohio Fentanyl Tracking and Overdose Prevention Act.
Let's see here. Oh, I mean, I guess I'll just do it like this. Oh, here it is. Yeah.
Then
For
we
vote.
have
For vote, pass, signed. Okay.
Then on the local bills, because states don't have each individual city doesn't have a working API key for this. You kind of have to click on the link. It takes you to the website. It's on their end that it's broken. So like if you were to click on, say, Birmingham, Alabama, and it'll take you to the website. It'll take you to the website. It'll bring you to an error that says like page not found or 404. If you click on the states on that website's emblem, it reloads the.
And it'll take you straight to. Okay. And you were wondering why I'm doing Columbus. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. That's why.
There's also a Know Your Constitution section. So head back to there. Hit on Constitution. Conflicts. So each bill, what bills conflict with the Constitution, bills that align with the Constitution, and bills that are neutral.
Damn. All right. First Amendment. No, Florida Education Standard. Hey. It was basically that a little anti-Semitism law in education. It does go against the First Amendment. All right. It's pretty damn accurate. I'm impressed, bro. I ain't gonna lie. This is damn good work.
Oh, there's more. So let me scroll down to. So you're gonna go to the sidebar. Scroll down till you see presidents. Sidebar. Click on presidents for me. Yep, has every U.S. president in order, with the exception of President Trump. He's number 47. It's current. Click on that for me.
Oh, wow. Election, legislative. Oh, I'm done. You got all the legislations here too. Executive orders.
Now, some of it's not updated because I haven't finished all of the plugins, but I just kind of wanted to give people a snippet about what the website's going to be like. Executive orders and whether or not they're active, military conflicts, crisis and how they handled them, scandals they've been wrapped up in, cabinet, and whether
this is nice.
The cabinet is based off of whether or not they are a good fit for their position. So, for example, Marco Rubio, financial interests and conflicts, low. And it tells you a little bit.
Financial conflict and interest. I can see why it's high.
Yeah. So you get the full cabinet. And then you see the budget that they're running. This isn't updated yet. This is just kind of like hard-coded data. But you can get an idea of what it's looking like.
All the way up to the first president. Like you got legislations, executive orders, military, whiskey. I mean, hey, scandals, slave ownership. I mean, yeah.
So, and then you go under last president, you go back to Joe Biden, you get to see what they do, what he did too.
Let's see. Well, I have all of them.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All 47.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. This low key code. It kind of goes into Sid's point with the whole legislation, but we'll see what happens at the end of that. Let's see.
All
Here,
right.
executive
So
orders.
hit close. I want to show you something else. This is the part that I'm actually interested in the most. Judicial. Click on judicial. This has every historical judicial justice in order from the founding of our nation. If you click on
the current ones,
yeah.
Got constitutional and citizen impact.
Yep. So basically, it's a constitutional. It's a constitutional analysis over each U.S. Supreme Court ruling.
Oh, bro,
And then
somebody's saying expected time release date.
Okay, so I am trying to do full steam ahead. Expected release date, I'm trying to get it rolled out before the end of June, early July, because my goal is to get this rolled out before the midterm, so that when people come here and they want to know who it is they're voting for or how their different politicians have behaved, you can come here. It's an aggregate of data. If you click on high vis cases real quick. Oh yeah. Conflict. The congressional stock market tracker. There we go.
Total holdings and now values. See, North Trust Corporations. Damn. See here. All right, so was naming all the stocks that they own?
Yep, the investments in either investments or their top highest earning ones. For example, Barry Moore. Click on him. Yeah, scroll down. He's got a lot, don't he?
Sure does. Whew.
88.
Man, making money off all these.
You want to see a Democrat? Let's go to Democrat section.
Let's see here, they got a Democrat section.
Scroll all the way. You got to scroll all the way up and select Democrat.
Party. See here.
Click on Greg Staten. 97 total holdings. This man's also made a lot of money.
Yeah. Investment
77 plus more.
Well, all right. I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is crazy impressive. Let me make sure let's see here.
Go in the Senate.
Mark this. Let's see here. You said go to the Senate. Mark Kelly.
Yeah.
Hey, nah.
Go crazy.
Hey, hey, bro, making great money.
Fantastic money.
Like, boy, Victoria Kelly Trust. So, man, that better not be your wife. But
so,
yeah.
I'll finish up and then I'll let you close out. So, the things that I'm still yet to add is there's also going to be a donor section. So, after running the numbers and pulling a whole lot of data, there is a lot of members of Congress that don't actually trade stocks. So that's something that a lot of people should know. There's not a lot of people that trade stocks, but there is a large lobbying section. And so all of those blank cards under these government officials that, one second.
Not gonna lie, this is all too impressive.
There's going to be donor information uploaded to these blank cards. There's also going to be a live presidential feed to where you can see what type of investments they've made, what are the bills, what are the impacts, everything else. And one last thing, because I know the midterms are coming up and this is important for everybody. Let's see. Go back to dashboard. All right, here. So click on elections. So this dashboard will be updated with a bunch of elections, not just here in the US, but as you can see from the SEED data all around the globe. There's also a civic poll that you can enter that features various different topics, and it's just a way for the for people to actually get a real feedback of how they feel about certain things. There's also a My Ballot section where you can type in your city, state, or zip code and see where your local voting poll is. And you're going to love this one. Scroll all the way up and hit Integrity Monitor.
Integrity Monitor, here it is.
Yes. Again, seed data. This posts high alerts for things that are not natural. So I'm gonna read it out. Statistical analysis of report results against population baselines. All data sourced from U.S. Census Bureau, USCIS naturalization records, DoD personnel counts, and certified state election results. Flags are informational. They indicate statistical deviations that warrant review by official oversight. So if a state says, "Yeah, we won by this margin," but their numbers don't make sense internally, you can see it here.
All right. But now we do got to close out, man. Hey, bro, great website, dude. I'm not even gonna lie, this is crazy. Man, I'm definitely gonna be using this.
Like I said, and as you poked around and prodded, there is a streamer section for the streamers. I am running this, making this for desktop, mobile app, and it's going to be on Windows, Mac, Linux. It's also going to be featured on iOS, Android, and an Android APK, and streamers. But S.E.T, you'll get a free sponsor from me when it goes live.
Hey, shout to my man Game. Hey, man. I'll shout this out. Whoops. No, I ain't, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with this some more, man. Let me know when you get some of the more of these updates done, because this is that definitely help with midterms and checking out all the elections.
Yep, but that's what I plan on doing, and I plan on sending email alerts from when bills move, so you get email alerts. It's very encrypted, so it's gonna be to the point where your cell phone can't read the app data. It's gonna be something where the computer, not even Google, can read your data. It's in encryption, so everything that you do on this site stays on this site.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and end it on this one, guys. Shoot, you want me to go ahead and shout it out?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, man. All right, so shout out to my man Gaming's website. It's called Civics Pulse. Now, Civics Pulse is CIVICPULSE -3H.
No, it's not ready yet. That's the that's the building. I'm actually building it.
Yeah. Okay, well, just look up Civics Pulse, and hopefully you guys will be able to, pull it up.
Yeah, so it'll officially go live again at the end of June, early July. So, but if you want to look at it, check it out, feel free.
All right, perfect. And all right, guys, we're going to head out on this one, guys. Make sure you double tap that screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel while you're at it, and also check out my man's shout out to the new website, Civic Pulse. I definitely will be using it here on stream later in the future. And anyway, guys, this is S.E.T with S.E.T Media. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Yo, this is S.E.T with S.E.T Media, man. I'm here to talk to you about our partner, Kalshi. Kalshi is the largest legal prediction market in the United States with over 1 million users. It's available in all 50 states. They are a real money market, people trading on what they think will happen. You can build a position and trade in and out of almost any prediction you think. Kalshi facilitates trade between people, kind of like the stock market. There's no limiting your trades just because you're winning. Kalshi will pay you interest on your position. So if you make a long-term trade, you can earn a return even before the market is resolved. If you want to try out Kalshi, go ahead and give them a try, guys, at my link, kalshi.com/setmedia. Get $20 when you trade 20, so it's 20 for 20, guys. Once again, that's kalshi.com/setmedia. Go ahead and use my code SETmedia to get $20 when you trade 20. Let's go ahead and take a look here at Kalshi, because like I said, it is a trading market where you can put in your prediction and you can go ahead and earn interest on that. You can make money off the knowledge that you know, and if you put $20 in, you get $20 back. So all right, guys, make sure to go check out my guy at Kalshi, because you can get in on good trades like who Trump nominated as Fed chair, will Ali Khamenei be outed as the supreme leader, and will the U.S. confirm that aliens exist before 2027? So if you want to get in on this action, once again, go ahead and go to my partners at Kalshi. Go ahead and use the link, or you can hit the QR code above and use SETmedia to go ahead and get $20 when you trade 20. This is Set from SETmedia, and shout out to Kalshi.